Chapter 2950. Everyone had come out except for that Lin Xian. It's over. That Lin Xian must have been trying to snatch the fire spirit pearl. What mechanism did he trigger? He actually unleashed such a terrifying power. Everyone was talking about it. However, the two-headed dragon roared with laughter. Ha ha! Ha ha! His two gigantic heads laughed maniacally. Kid, you're really courting death. I didn't expect the power of the fire spirit pearl to be far beyond my expectations. If we had snatched it, we might have been banned by now. He was feeling very good now because the fire spirit pearl should have been theirs. However, they were defeated by the other party. But it didn't matter. So what if they were defeated? That kid was strong, but in front of this power, he would definitely be smashed to pieces. This power was not weaker than a saint's. No one below a saint could resist it, even if they had a saint artifact. That was indeed the case. When the primordial elites sensed this power, they all revealed sinister smiles. Even the injured Qilin race's prodigy had returned. There was a sinister look on her cold face. Great kid, go to hell. Damn kid, nothing must happen to you. The Crimson Dragon roared, shocking the 10,000 ancient races. At the same time, he looked ahead worriedly. The 10,000 ancient races were intimidated by the dragon's aura and didn't dare to speak. However, everyone was laughing coldly in their hearts. In their opinion, Lin Xian was definitely going to die this time around. At this moment, there was still no one left in the Blazing Flame Pagoda. Of course, Lin Xian was the only exception. Lin Xian was on the 7th floor of the Blazing Flame Pagoda, surrounded by countless purple flames. Previously, he had forcefully raised his strength and burned his body to seal the fire spirit pearl. However, he had triggered the fire spirit pearl's ferocious nature. It exploded with an attack that was not weaker than a saint's. Therefore, at this moment, Lin Xian's body was instantly shattered. Boom! Lin Xian's 9-yang divine body exploded into pieces. Blood flowed, and his corpse flew everywhere. This scene was extremely terrifying. This was the most serious injury that Lin Xian had ever suffered. However, he didn't die. At his level, unless his soul was completely obliterated, he wouldn't die. Lin Xian's soul was wrapped up by the great dragon sword's soul and had already fused with it. At this moment, he let out a crazy roar. So what if my body is destroyed? My soul is not destroyed. His fighting spirit was inextinguishable. Condense for me. With a furious roar, Jiu Yang's body condensed again, and his palm reached for the fire spirit pearl again. However, it shattered once again. Just like that, it shattered 9 times in a row. Lin Xian reformed 9 times. His face was incomparably pale, and his strength and soul were both extremely weak. Although he possessed the great dragon sword soul, Lin Xian was not an immortal existence. Thus, if they continued to forcefully seize the heavenly Tao, they might really be destroyed in the end. However, although the situation was critical, Lin Xian would never give up. His eyes were filled with determination and unyielding determination. I am a swordsman. A swordsman is a sharp weapon, and he is unyielding. Lin Xian's voice was sonorous like thunder. He held on to the belief that he would die. Even if he died, he would seal the fire spirit pearl. This was the last time. Lin Xian didn't hold back and used all his ultimate moves. At the same time, the mysterious little sword in his body began to change again. This mysterious small sword had been with him since he started cultivating. It was given to him by his father. Usually, it didn't do anything in his body. In fact, he had almost forgotten about it. However, at this critical moment, a strange change occurred again. A sword light appeared on the mysterious small sword, and it directly enveloped the fire spirit pearl. Instantly, the incomparably powerful fire spirit pearl, which was comparable to a saint, calmed down. The flames on it were also constantly weakening. Then, it rushed towards the mysterious small sword. With a whoosh, it disappeared into the mysterious small sword. Was it taken in? Lin Xian was extremely shocked. He reformed his body. He didn't probe the mysterious small sword at all. He realized that it was even more mysterious than the great dragon sword soul. He only knew that there was a strange space in the mysterious small sword. Back then, Lord Gio was in it. He had also entered it before, but he could only move in a very small area. Usually, he couldn't activate the mysterious small sword on his own. He didn't expect the mysterious small sword to show its power at this critical moment. It took in the incomparably terrifying fire spirit pearl. Not only that, but he also felt the world spinning. He was actually taken in by the mysterious small sword. In the next moment, he was once again in that strange space. The ancient tree in front of him had already withered. It had been tens of thousands of years. He vaguely remembered that Lord Gio had drunk wine under this ancient tree and guided him in his cultivation. Now that Lord Gio had left, and become a super saint, he was no longer the ignorant youth from back then. The space in the small sword had a special power. It made the violent fire spirit pearl as docile as a kitten. Lin Xian was tempted. He tried to absorb the power in the fire spirit pearl. On the surface of the fire spirit pearl, purple patterns spread out again. Terrifying flames spread. However, this time, it wasn't so fierce. Although the power was terrifying, Lin Xian felt that it was no longer a fatal threat to him. Great, I can absorb it. Lin Xian was overjoyed. Although he still didn't understand the secret of the mysterious small sword. However, he didn't have the time to think so much now. He had to quickly use the flames in the fire spirit pearl to increase the power of the 9-yang divine body. Buzz! Lin Xian waved his hand and sent out the great dragon sword soul, allowing it to absorb the power of the fire spirit pearl. At the same time, he activated the power of the fire spirit pearl to temper the 9-yang divine body. He definitely wouldn't let go of such ferocious power. In an instant, Lin Xian started cultivating. Outside, the Crimson Dragon and the others didn't leave the Flame Pagoda. They were all waiting anxiously. If Lin Xian didn't come out, they wouldn't leave. However, those primordial creatures didn't wait. There were many other places in the 3rd district besides the Flame Pagoda. They started searching for other places. Among them, the Red Wing race, the Baiying race, and the Blood Moon race started working together to kill those related to Lin Xian. The main targets were the Crimson Dragon, Murong Qingqing, and Xinjingqiu. After all, Lin Xian and these primordial races had a deep grudge. Previously, Lin Xian was so strong that they couldn't defeat him. But now that Lin Xian was dead, they had nothing to worry about. They swore that they would kill everyone who was related to Lin Xian. They wanted to send all of them to hell. A huge battle broke out. Although Lin Xian was no longer around, the Crimson Dragon and Murong Qingqing weren't jealous. Xinjingqiu was also very strong. In addition, they had the support of their sacred grounds. Therefore, the battle was very fierce. However, the 10,000 ancient races were too strong. Many prodigies started working together. In the end, the 2-headed dragon and the female prodigy from the Fire Qilin cave that Lin Xian had injured earlier also attacked. The two of them directly injured Murong Qingqing and Xinjingqiu. Chapter 2951. Luckily, both of them had powerful trump cards, so they were not killed. Ha ha! I heard you two are that kid's women? Today, I will kill both of you in front of everyone. I will humiliate both of you to death. I will let everyone know the consequences of offending the 10,000 ancient races. Not only will they die, everyone else will die. I will kill you in the most humiliating way possible. The twin-headed dragon roared as he stared at Murong Qingqing and Xinjingqiu. On the other side, the prodigies of the Scarlet-Winged race, the Silver race, and the Blood Moon Rental race also surrounded them. Don't kill this woman. Cripple her, break her limbs, and disfigure her. I want to take it and exchange it with the Phoenix clan. The female prodigy of the Fire Qilin cave said coldly. She knew that Murong Qingqing's bloodline was extraordinary, and that the Divine Emperor Qilin wanted it. Although she did not get the Fire Spirit Pearl, as long as she captured Murong Qingqing and handed him to the Divine Phoenix Ridge, the Divine Emperor Ridge would definitely give her a treasure even more precious than the Fire Spirit Pearl. Alright, then I'll kill this dragon. His bloodline power is even stronger than mine. If I eat him, I will definitely evolve. When that happens, I will become the strongest bloodline below the crown prince. The twin-headed dragon was also excited. Give this woman to me. The prodigy of the silver race stopped Shinjinqiu. I just happen to be lacking a slave and a furnace. I will use that kid's woman as my slave. As for the people of Immortal Palace, all the women will be slaves, and the men will be sent to the 18th level of hell, never to be reincarnated. The 10,000 ancient races stared at the martial artists of Immortal Palace, grinning maliciously. Damn it, how dare you! Gu Santong roared angrily and led the Gu clan over. Yu Wadao also stepped forward with a cold snort. I will not allow you to do this to Brother Lin's friends. They were on good terms with Lin Xian, although Lin Xian's fate was unknown. However, they would not allow the 10,000 ancient races to attack Murong Qingqing and the others. Seeing Yu Wadao, Gu Santong, and the others step forward, Immortal Palace's martial artists breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, someone was helping them. However, in the next moment, their expressions became extremely ugly. What? You want to stand up for that Lin Xian? The two-headed dragon sneered. This is a personal grudge between us and that brat. If you stand out, it will become a grudge between the human race and the 10,000 ancient races. Do you think the 10,000 ancient races will be afraid of you? As they spoke till here, the other geniuses of the supreme ancient immortal realms laughed out coldly as powerful figures appeared one after another. All of them walked out. What? Do the humans want to fight us again? I'll play with you guys. In this battle, all of you will definitely die here. Yu Wadao, Gu Santong, and the others frowned when they heard this. Damn it, this fellow actually wants to unite all the 10,000 ancient races. Holy Sun, we can't be impulsive. The disciples of the Yi family quickly tried to persuade him. The other holy sons and holy daughters also said, Brother Yi, please reconsider. Brother Yi, please don't start a war between the human race and the 10,000 ancient races. We can't withstand such a blow. Damn it, how despicable! The Crimson Dragon stomped its feet in anger. It originally had hope, but it didn't expect that hope to be extinguished. Double-headed dragon, don't blame me for stewing you with the dragon bloodline of the thoughtless dragon clan. The Crimson Dragon was truly enraged. With a roar, it charged forward. The two-headed dragon snorted. You think I'm afraid of you? Today, I'll drink your dragon blood and evolve. The two dragons collided in the sky, and a terrifying sound wave surged in all directions. At the same time, the Fire Qilin Grotto's prodigies, the Silver Race's Heaven Sex prodigies, and the Blood Moon Race's prodigies all attacked Murong Qingqing and Shinjinqiu. Humph! Murong Qingqing snorted, and the Phoenix Phantom on her body spun rapidly from a lotus platform beneath her feet. Kill! With a delicate shout, she used Jade Pool's divine ability and fought against the Fire Spirit Grotto's prodigy. On the other side, Shinjinqiu also used Xia's divine ability and attacked quickly. The two of them could be considered top-notch saintesses. They were powerful and could reach 35,000 units of archaic power. It could be said that they were extremely terrifying. Sure enough, as soon as the two of them attacked, countless people cried out in surprise. Heavens, they were actually so powerful. Yes, Murong Qingqing was powerful, but they didn't expect Saintess Xia to be so powerful. They hadn't seen her fight many times, but she was also so terrifying. Many people looked at Shinjinqiu's figure in shock. Even the 10,000 ancient races had solemn expressions. Of course, there were also people who sneered. So what if she's powerful? It's only 35,000 units of archaic power. She's not a match for us at all. Besides, we have the Heaven Sect on our side. We can overwhelm them with numbers. That was indeed the case. Apart from Murong Qingqing, the Crimson Dragon, and Shinjinqiu, the others like Peacock, Hui Dao, and the members of Immortal Palace were slightly weaker. However, they were the elites of Immortal Palace and had many ultimate techniques in their hands. At that moment, they didn't fight alone. Instead, they joined forces to form powerful killing formations to contend against Murong Qingqing. It's useless. You can't beat me. I have 40,000 units of archaic power. The Fire Qilin Cave's prodigy laughed coquettishly. With a wave of her hand, a Fire Qilin rushed out and collided with Murong Qingqing's Phoenix Phantom. In the sky, countless lightning bolts shot out like flood dragons, piercing through all directions. Murong Qingqing didn't say anything. Her beautiful face was incomparably cold. Indeed, the other party was right. She was a top-notch existence in the human race, but her opponent was too powerful. This battle seemed to be evenly matched, but it made the blood in her body boil. If it wasn't for her special bloodline, she would have been killed by now. As expected of the five-colored Phoenix bloodline. It was unbelievable that she could grow to such a level without the corresponding inheritance. However, it was time to end it. The Fire Qilin Cave's female prodigy said coldly. To be honest, she was also extremely surprised. One had to know that in addition to the power of their bloodline, they also had a bloodline inheritance passed down from ancient times. This kind of inheritance was a kind of cultivation method. Only this kind of inheritance method could allow one's bloodline power to be maximized. Without it, one wouldn't be able to use the advantage of their bloodline power at all. However, the woman in front of her didn't have the bloodline inheritance of the Phoenix clan, but she had already grown to the top of the human race with the power of her bloodline alone. If she was given the secret bloodline inheritance method, she would definitely soar into the sky. She might even be a peerless prodigy among the 10,000 ancient races. However, she wasn't afraid. She thought that the people of Divine Phoenix Ridge would definitely not let her grow. She just needed to capture her opponent now. Buzz! With a wave of her hand, she took out the purple furnace. Endless smoke turned into rays of purple sword light that shot forward. Buzz, buzz, buzz! The purple sword shadows that filled the sky were like lightning and thunder, cutting through the void and stabbing towards Murong Qingqing. Chapter 2952. Murong Qingqing waved her phoenix-winged golden fan, which shone brightly. She cut through the void and instantly appeared on the other side. The place where she was originally standing was drowned by endless sword chi and turned into nothingness. Damn it! She's too strong! Murong Qingqing's expression was ugly. In the distance, the spectators also exclaimed. It was too dangerous. If they were hit by the sword chi, even an invincible king would be instantly killed. 40,000 units of the ancient era's power was truly terrifying. That was for sure. The 10th generation Sun by Qiansen only had 38,000 Archean power. This woman was even more terrifying than the 10th generation Sun by. Is this the strength of the Archean theocrats? Everyone exclaimed. The Jade Lake Sacred Ground cultivators, on the other hand, were in despair. That was because Murong Qingqing was really in danger. Do you think you can dodge it? Just as Murong Qingqing was about to heave a sigh of relief, a cold voice came from behind her. Immediately after, a palm carrying a sky full of flames slapped her body. Puff! Murong Qingqing shot out countless lotus shadows to block behind her, but she was still sent flying by the palm. In the next moment, she spat out a mouthful of blood and flew backward. Oh no, the Jade Lake Sacred Ground is injured! Everyone exclaimed. Sacred Ground! The Jade Lake Sacred Ground cultivators screamed and rushed forward, but more Archean creatures appeared and stopped them. You want to leave? Stay here! Those were the Archean creatures of the Blood Moon clan and the Redwing clan. Their faces were ferocious as they blocked the Jade Lake Sacred Ground cultivators. Not only Jade Lake, but the Immortal Palace and Xixia Sacred Ground cultivators were also affected. Many of them were injured, and some of them were even blasted into pieces. This scene could be said to be extremely miserable. Sister Miss Seductress! Shinjinchio cried out when she saw this scene. She turned her head anxiously. Kid, you should worry about yourself first. The prodigy of the Silver Clan smiled sinisterly. He waved his hand, and silver runes flashed, turning into a silver mountain that blasted toward Shinjinchio. Puff! Shinjinqiu also spat out blood and flew backward. Oh no, Xixia's sacred ground is also injured. Damn it! The crimson dragon roared, his whole body trembling with anger. Just you wait. When Xiao Xuanzi comes out, I will make him kill all of you. He was about to go mad with anger. What? Do you still want that brat to live? How could this be? The aura within the flame tower was comparable to that of a sage. Perhaps even those sect leaders would not be able to withstand it. Do you think that kid will be able to survive? What a joke! He has already gone to hell. Soon I will send you to hell and let you reunite in the netherworld. Ferocious voices rang out one after another. Murong Qingqing and Shinjingqiu's injuries worsened. However, they weren't killed because the 10,000 ancient races didn't want to kill them. In the sky, countless purple swords she weaved into a net and enveloped Murong Qingqing. She was about to be sealed. Not good. Murong Qingqing's heart sank. Am I really going to be captured by someone? If that was the case, he might as well die. At this moment of crisis, a golden fist appeared in the sky and shattered the seal in the sky. Had Lin Xian come out? Everyone exclaimed in shock. That golden fist was too terrifying. However, they soon realized that it wasn't. It wasn't Lin Xian, but Yi Wudao. Yi Wudao had made a move. At this moment of crisis, Yi Wudao had saved Murong Qingqing. Damn it, do you want to fight the entire 10,000 ancient races? The female prodigy from the Fire Qilin cave screamed. Yi Wudao's strength was terrifying. He was a sage physique and could definitely pose a threat to her. However, he probably wouldn't dare to use his full strength. Otherwise, the 10,000 ancient races would definitely slaughter these people mercilessly. You think too much. I won't use the Yi family's power. However, Brother Lin and I will be fine. I will stand up for him. It doesn't count as fighting the 10,000 ancient races. Yi Wudao soared into the sky. Me too. Gu Santong and Wuhua stepped forward. The three of them had a good relationship with Lin Xian, so the three of them attacked together. As for their sacred grounds and families, they didn't move. They watched the battle from afar. This way, it wouldn't count as a war between the humans and the 10,000 ancient races. Humph. You Wudao, right? I've always wanted to test my sage physique. Today I'll play with you. The female prodigy from the Fire Qilin cave cried out and formed hand seals. The Fire Qilin symbol on her body shone even brighter. Her bloodline power condensed into a clone that charged at Murong Qingqing. Meanwhile, her main body charged at Yi Wudao. I'll fight you. Bai Yinwu and the Blood Moon race sent two more celestial sects to meet Wuhua and Gu Santong. The battle erupted once again. There were too many prodigies from the 10,000 ancient races, and each one of them was incomparably powerful. We humans are no match for them. Many people shook their heads. Although Yi Wudao and the other two had made a move, it didn't look like they could turn the tide. Sure enough, Murong Qingqing was already heavily wounded. Although she was only facing a doppelganger, the power of this doppelganger was extremely frightening. It was roughly equivalent to Bai Qiansan's, with 38,000 units of Archean power. Murong Qingqing was already difficult to deal with when she wasn't injured. Now that she was injured, she was even more difficult to deal with. In less than 100 moves, she would be in danger of being sealed again. Shinjingqiu was in mortal danger. The Silver Race was the uncrowned king. Their primeval prodigies were incredibly powerful. The fact that Shinjingqiu could hold on until now was enough to shock the humans and primeval prodigies. This woman was incredible. She probably also had a mysterious bloodline. Ha ha! I didn't expect you to be so talented. Become my cauldron and duo cultivate with me. I guarantee your cultivation will advance by leaps and bounds. The Silver Race prodigy threw his head back and laughed. His eyes were fiery red as he stared at Shinjingqiu. She was too perfect. Not only was Shinjingqiu beautiful, but she also had a powerful bloodline. This was the best outcome for him. He reached out with a large golden hand. Countless runes flickered, forming a cage that completely enveloped Shinjingqiu. Shinjinchio resisted with all her might, but she couldn't break out of the silver cage. It's useless. The difference between us is too great. Even if you attack with all your strength, you won't be able to break my cage. The silver race prodigy sneered. Although he wasn't as strong as Tianqiao from the Fire Qilin cave, he still had 38,000 units of Archean power. Big brother Lin Xian. Shinjinchio's face was pale. She turned to look at the flame pagoda, revealing a sad but beautiful smile. Although she was trapped, she wouldn't give in no matter what. Even if she was killed, even if she self-destructed, she wouldn't let him have his way. On the other side, Murong Qingqing was also surrounded by countless purple sword chi, completely sealed. She also looked at the flame pagoda. Big brother Xian, I'll accompany you in my next life. A hint of determination appeared in her eyes. There was no helping it. The difference was too great. Although she had bloodline power, she didn't have a bloodline inheritance. In addition, she was seriously injured. Just one of her opponent's avatars could sweep through everything. How could he seal her? In this place, perhaps only Leaf Daodenier and the Crimson Dragon could fight evenly with him. No one else could. Chapter 2953. Goodbye. Murong Qingqing's blood began to burn. On the other side, Shinjinchio's energy was also becoming chaotic. Both of them wanted to self-destruct to destroy their enemies. Damn it, self-destructing isn't that easy. If you dare to self-destruct, I'll kill everyone who says there's a Jade Lake. The female prodigy from the Fire Qilin cave also screamed. However, they couldn't stop it. As the energy in their bodies became more and more chaotic, a terrifying aura burst out. Not good. Run! As for the surrounding people, they were running away in a frenzy. The self-destruction of two top geniuses of the human race was absolutely devastating. Don't! The Crimson Dragon screamed like a madman. On the other side, Goose Santong and the other side. Was there no turning back? Just as everyone felt despair, a pair of shining palms appeared in the sky and enveloped Murong Qingqing and Shinjinchio. Soon, the destructive energy disappeared. What happened? Those people who were running away all stopped and looked behind them in bewilderment. Could it be that they didn't self-destruct successfully? Were they sealed again by the 10,000 ancient races? They turned to look. The prodigies from the 10,000 ancient races were also stunned, especially the prodigies from the Silver Tribe and Fire Qilin Cave. Were those hands Yi Wudao's? They looked at the fiery golden palms and cried out in shock. Many people looked at Yi Wudao, but he also frowned. No, it wasn't Yi Wudao. Could it be? It was Lin Xian. It was the Temple Master. The cultivators from Immortal Palace cried out in shock. The Crimson Dragon also looked up to the sky and laughed. Ha 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 ha, I knew it. How could that kid die just like that? Kid, hurry up and come out and kill with me. We have to kill them. What, is it that kid? Damn it, that's impossible. How could he still be alive? That Saint-level power had long since crushed him to pieces. There's no way he's still alive. Many archaic prodigies screamed. The prodigies from the Fire Qilin Cave, the two-headed dragon, and the Silver Tribe all narrowed their eyes. They stared at the glowing palms in the sky. Brother Lin Xian, is that you? Murong Qingqing and Shinjinchio were also very surprised. They originally wanted to die together, but they didn't expect that at the last moment, someone would suppress their strength. He had saved them. Boom! Boom! In the sky, the two golden hands exerted force and shattered the purple sword chi. On the other side, the silver cage that sealed the world was destroyed by a single slap. Two large hands wrapped around Murong Qingqing and Shinjinchio and brought them to a safe place. Then, they turned into two balls of flame and protected the two of them. What? It shattered in an instant? The eyes of the Sky Pride of the Argent Tribe and the woman of the Fire Qilin Cave widened. Who was he? His methods were actually so powerful. Was it really that kid? Impossible, they still didn't believe that the other party couldn't survive that kind of violent energy. Damn it, who are you? Acting all mysterious, The Silver Clan's genius roared, his voice like thunder. Everyone looked in all directions. In front of him, a vortex appeared above the flames. A figure walked out from the vortex. What? It's that kid! It's really Lin Xian! Lin Xian didn't die! Everyone was stunned. They couldn't believe it. How did he survive? That's right, the one who came out was Lin Xian. At this moment, Lin Xian's body was surrounded by divine flames. His face was incomparably cold, and his eyes were filled with killing intent. He first looked at Murong Qingqing and Xin Jingqiu. When he saw the two women's pale faces and bloodied bodies, he was instantly enraged. The 9 suns' divine fire on his body turned into countless sword chi that shot into the sky. He took a step forward and instantly arrived beside the two women. With a wave of his hand, a pile of natural treasures appeared. Qingcheng Qiu'er, you're injured. Brother Xian, I'm fine. Murong Qingqing heaved a sigh of relief. Xin Jingqiu was about to cry. Brother Lin Xian, that's great, you're not dead. They were too excited. Lin Xian waved his hand. The 9 suns' divine fire melted the natural treasures and turned them into 2 balls of pure energy that surged into the two women's bodies. At the same time, he asked, Who injured you? It's that big bad guy, Xin Jingqiu said as she pointed at the silver-white figure in the sky. Murong Qingqing, who was beside her, didn't say anything. However, she couldn't look at the female prodigy of the Fire Qilin cave. I know. I'll avenge you. Lin Xian nodded and glanced at the two women. He didn't make a move immediately. Instead, he glanced at the Crimson Dragon. When he saw that the Crimson Dragon wasn't injured, he heaved a sigh of relief. He looked at the martial artists of Immortal Palace again. When he saw that Peacock, Hui Dao, and the others were also seriously injured and many of them were killed, he was shocked. Lin Xian clenched his fists. He came in front of these people and took out countless natural treasures again. Palace Master! Peacock and the others were extremely excited. Many of them knelt down on one knee. Palace Master, we didn't protect you well enough. The Jade Lake Saintess and Zixia Saintess were injured. Palace Master, please punish us. Lin Xian shook his head. No, you did well. Now leave it to me. I'll avenge you. Who injured you? It's them. Peacock and the others raised their heads. Their eyes were burning with anger as they pointed at the Blood Moon Clan, the Silver Clan, and the Crimson Wing Clan. Lin Xian turned around and stared at the primordial creatures. The primordial creatures trembled and fear appeared in their eyes. However, they still braced themselves and said, Damn it, what do you want? Kid, you're not dead. You're really lucky. So what if you're not dead? We'll kill you with our own hands after you come here. That's right. Do you think you're a match for us? They screamed crazily. Lin Xian's expression was cold. A fiery red sword appeared in his hand. Fire Separation Sword. Buzz. He took a step forward. His speed was so fast that no one could see him clearly. Countless sword chi flickered in the sky. Every sword cut open a primordial creature. With every sword, a corpse fell. Soon, blood dyed the sky red. Hundreds and thousands of primordial corpses fell from the sky and smashed into the ground. Shocking, absolutely shocking. Almost instantly, the Blood Moon Clan, the Silver Clan, and the Crimson Wing Clan were all killed. The corpses piled up like a mountain. Blood surged in the sky, turning it into azure hell. No! The other primordial creatures screamed crazily as if they had seen a ghost. They retreated frantically. The human warriors felt their scalps go numb. Many of them were about to faint from fear. What kind of scene was this? Killing these primordial creatures was no different from killing ants. When the Immortal Palace warriors saw this, they clenched their fists in excitement. Great, their palace master was still alive. Not only that, he even helped them take revenge. Damn it! How dare you! The Blood Moon Clan and the Silver Clan's prodigies screamed crazily. The two-headed dragon and the Fire Qilin Cave's female prodigy also narrowed their eyes. Especially the Fire Qilin Cave's female prodigy. Her eyes were red, and the flames on her body surged. She was about to go crazy. The sword in the other party's hand was her treasure. How could he still be alive? Could it be that the other party had successfully sealed the fire spirit pearl? Thinking of this, her expression turned cold. Kill this kid, take back the sword, and retrieve the fire spirit pearl. Chapter 2954. However, before she could make a move, the two sky prides from the Blood Moon clan charged over. Bloody light filled the sky from their bodies. Their bodies completely transformed into two full moons, descending from the sky and shrouding Lin Xian. They wanted to use their terrifying bloodline power to crush him. Buzz! Lin Xian did not dodge. Instead, he waved the blazing Qilin sword and shot out two rays of sword light that looked like peerless immortal light. He slashed forward. With a poochie sound, the two sword lights struck the blood-colored moons. With one strike, the two blood-colored moons split in half. Ah! Two screams were heard. Then, the corpses of the two Archean sky prides from the Blood Moon clan fell from the sky. What? Dead? Everyone was stunned. They could not believe it. Lin Xian killed two Archean sky prides with a single slash. Oh my god, how is this possible? They were Archean sky prides. They were not the same as the Archean creatures from before. The two Archean sky prides from the Blood Moon clan had at least 30,000 Archean power. They were so powerful that they could dominate an area. But now, they were killed with a single slash. Their souls did not even have a chance to escape. How can this kid be so strong? Why do I feel that his strength has increased? Many people were terrified. Lin Xian turned his head and stared at the sky pride from the Silver Clan. His eyes were filled with cold, killing intent. The sky pride from the Silver Clan trembled when he was stared at by Lin Xian. But very quickly, he became furious. Damned brat, I want you dead. Although he was crazy, he was not stupid. He knew that his strength was on par with Bai Qianshan. If Lin Xian could kill Bai Qianshan, he could definitely kill him. Therefore, he secretly sent a voice transmission to the female sky pride from the Fire Qilin cave. He asked her clone to cooperate with him. His clone had 38,000 units of Archean power, so the two of them combined could fight against an existence with 40,000 units of Archean power. It was definitely enough to kill Lin Xian. Attack! With a roar, the Sky Pride from the Silver Clan rushed out. At the same time, the clone of the Sky Pride from the Fire Qilin cave also rushed over. The two of them attacked Lin Xian from the left and right. Not good, they are actually working together. Many people were terrified. Murong Qingqing and the others were also nervous. That was because the geniuses of the Silver Clan were not weak themselves. That clone of hers was also incomparably terrifying. If the two of them joined forces, they would definitely be a force to be reckoned with. Let's see how this brat dies this time. Many ancient lifeforms sneered. Thundering heavens! The prodigy of the Silver Clan waved his fist, which transformed into 8 stars. Each of them carried incomparable lightning as they descended from the sky. Everyone was terrified. This was an extremely terrifying lightning divine ability. At this moment, when the 8 lightning stars appeared, they could destroy everything. The avatar transformed into a flame Qilin, roaring nonstop. The flame Qilin had a pair of fiery red wings on its back, with blood flowing through them. Running in the sky, he easily cut open the void. Another peerless divine ability. Both of them were attacking with all their might. Go to hell. Terrifying lightning exploded and flames filled the air. The entire world was overturned. Buzz, buzz, buzz. He should be dead now. Many people looked at the violent energy in the sky and sneered. Amidst the violent energy, 3 sword lights flew out. 1 sword light split the energy. 1 sword light split the prodigy of the Silver Clan, and the other sword light destroyed the avatar. 3 swords, only 3 swords. Lin Xian destroyed everything. He walked out of the energy vortex again, unscathed. Sizzle! Sizzle! The avatar turned into blobs of blood that scattered in all directions. The corpse of the Silver Clan prodigy fell to the ground, lifeless. What? He's dead again. Everyone was terrified. That was the prodigy of the Silver Clan. He was powerful and not weaker than Bai Qianshan. However, he was still killed by a single sword strike. Impossible! How did this kid become so powerful? That's right. Previously, when I fought Bai Qianshan, I used all my means to kill him. But now, he can kill a powerhouse of the same realm with a single sword strike? What exactly did this kid go through? The ancient lifeform screamed crazily. The female prodigy of the Fire Qilin cave also narrowed her eyes. Damn it, he actually killed my avatar with a single sword strike. She couldn't believe it. However, even though it was just an avatar, it still had 38,000 units of Archean power. A single avatar was enough to wipe out all the other human prodigies except for Yi Dao Denier. One could imagine how terrifying the avatar was. But now, it was killed by Lin Xian with a single sword strike. What kind of shock was that? You dare to attack my people? You've touched my bottom line. Therefore you will die today. Lin Xian's cold voice echoed in all directions. He stared at the female prodigy of the Fire Qilin cave. You escaped last time, but you still don't know what's good for you. You dare to attack my woman? You can die now. Damn kid, I was careless last time. This time, I won't lose to you. The female prodigy was furious. Lin Xian didn't say anything else. He turned to look at Yi Dao Denier. Brother Yi, thank you for helping me this time. I'll remember this favor. Yi Dao Denier nodded. I'll leave this to you. With that, his figure flickered and he left. In the sky, Lin Xian strode forward. Remember, don't touch my people. Lin Xian's aura became more and more terrifying. The female prodigy sneered. Who do you think you are? How dare you speak to me like that? I'll show you my true strength. She roared and began to burn the power of her bloodline. The purple smoke brilliant furnace spun continuously above her head, transforming into countless purple sword chi. Not only that, but this time, the female prodigy took out a demonic beast claw. It was a withered claw that looked like a corpse. The moment it appeared, a terrifying aura pressed down on the surroundings. Qilin claw. Damn it, she actually has such a thing. Many people's eyelids twitched, and the ancient creatures were terrified. The female prodigy of the Fire Qilin cave laughed sinisterly. Die, kid. She activated the Qilin claw, and at the same time, 10,000 purple swords she rushed out from above her head, attacking Lin Xian. The terrifying sword she pierced through the void, and the terrifying Qilin claw continued to expand, covering the sky and earth. It was like the palm of a fiend god. This claw could crush the sun and moon, and overturn heaven and earth. Under this claw, even those powerful invincible kings would be reduced to ashes. It's too powerful. Is this the prodigy of the ancient theocrats? As expected, no one could stop her. In the face of such a terrifying attack, Lin Xian didn't dodge at all. His aura erupted like a wave. The Fire Qilin sword in his hand suddenly expanded, as if it had come to life. It stabbed out, piercing through the sky. The sky was filled with flames and terrifying sword chi. It was like thunder, soaring into the clouds. Pooh! The sword illuminated the entire world, and the terrifying Qilin claw was pierced, forming a large hole. The sword chi passed through the Qilin claw and attacked the female prodigy of the Fire Qilin cave. Chapter 2955. Pft. The sword she tore through the purple sword light and arrived in front of the female prodigy. What? How is that possible? He broke the Qilin claw. I don't believe it! The female prodigy screamed. Her beautiful eyes were wide open, filled with shock and fear. The Qilin claw was formed from the claw of a terrifying archaic king from the Fire Qilin cave. Its power was extremely terrifying. Even killing those powerful invincible kings would not be a problem. But now, it was destroyed by the other party. Although she knew that the power of the Fire Qilin sword played a part, the other party's strength had definitely increased. He was even stronger than when she fought with him previously. And much stronger. Impossible. Damn it. Could it be that this kid's strength increased again? But how long had it been? From the time they were forced to leave Flame Tower to the time they attacked Dark Red Godly Forest, Murong Qingqing, and the others, only 3 days had passed. However, the other party's strength had increased tremendously in these 3 days. That was impossible. It was simply a myth. All of this happened in the blink of an eye. The female prodigy of the Fire Qilin Cave temporarily suppressed the shock in her heart. The most important thing now was to dodge the sword. Roar! At this critical moment, the female prodigy could no longer care about anything else. With a roar, cold scales began to grow on her body. They were densely packed and covered her entire body. Her body also became bigger, like a small mountain, completely turning into a Qilin. After transforming into a Qilin, her strength increased again. Not only that, but her body also became incomparably tough. Those ice-cold scales were comparable to the toughest treasured weapons. Damn it, I don't believe that I can't block it. The female prodigy of the Qilin tribe screamed crazily. She wanted to use her body to block the sword. Pfft! The sword pierced through her body. The female prodigy of the Fire Qilin Cave widened her eyes. She looked at her body in disbelief. How could it be pierced through? Her incomparably tough Fire Qilin body was pierced through, leaving a bloody hole. Moreover, her heart was smashed into pieces. Not only that, there was a sword intent that could destroy everything in the wound. It began to spread throughout her body. Soon, countless cracks appeared on her body. Even her head was the same. Her soul wanted to escape from her body, but it was tightly enveloped by a biting cold sword intent. No! Damn it! This was impossible! I don't believe you! The female prodigy of the Fire Qilin Cave screamed as if she had gone mad. She found it hard to accept. She was a genius of the royal clan. How powerful was 40,000 Archean power? If she stomped her feet, those human saints and saintesses would be annihilated. However, the man before him was able to easily kill him. What level had the other party's strength reached? Boom! She didn't have time to think anymore, because the sword she exploded out and cut the Fire Spirit Grotto's Skypride's body into pieces. His soul was annihilated. Blood rained down from the sky, and not a single spot was left intact. Dead. The great Fire Qilin Paradise sect was killed by the other party. This scene was simply too shocking. This caused the bodies of the Archean elites to tremble, and many of them knelt on the ground. How did this kid become so strong? The Crimson Dragon was shocked. Murong Qingqing and the others also opened their mouths wide. On the other side, Leaf Doudenier also gasped. He had fought with the female prodigy of the Fire Qilin Cave. Naturally, he knew how powerful she was. If he wanted to kill her, he would have to use some powerful trump cards. But now, Lin Xian had killed her with a single sword strike. This method definitely surpassed his. It seemed that he had obtained some kind of opportunity in the Flame Pagoda. Leaf Doudenier exclaimed in his heart. On the other side, the two-headed dragon screamed. Damn it, I don't believe it! How can you be so strong? He was going crazy. His strength was on par with the female prodigy of the Fire Qilin Cave. He also had 40,000 Archean power. He usually flaunted his strength, but now, he was truly afraid. Was that sword strike of his opponent an ordinary sword strike? Or had he used all of his strength and unleashed a world-shaking sword strike? He was more willing to believe the latter. However, he didn't plan to attack anymore. He wanted to leave as soon as possible because he was scared out of his wits. You want to leave? Can you leave? The Crimson Dragon sneered and spat out flames and lightning to stop the other party. Damn it, how dare you stop me? The two-headed dragon was furious. So what if I stop you? The Crimson Dragon struck the other party with another bolt of lightning, causing the other party to roll in the sky and shatter countless voids. Lin Xian walked up again. He held the Fire Qilin sword, and his aura was extremely powerful. Next, it's your turn. he stared at the two-headed dragon. Being stared at by Lin Xian, the two-headed dragon's body stiffened, and fear appeared in his eyes. No, damn brat, you can't attack me. I'm from the nest of 10,000 dragons. If you dare to attack me, the nest of 10,000 dragons won't let you off. We are the dragon race, and we command the 10,000 races of the ancient era. If you touch me, you will become an enemy of the 10,000 races of the ancient era. Become an enemy of the 10,000 races of the ancient era? So what? Lin Xian didn't care at all. There was only one outcome for those who dared to threaten the people around him, and that was death. He raised his hand and swung his sword. This sword strike was incomparably peerless. Damn it, block it for me! The two-headed dragon roared angrily and shot out lightning and fire that filled the sky. Damn brat, have a taste of my ultimate move, world destruction lightning! Lightning surged on his body, forming black lightning that carried a strong aura of destruction. It was as if it could destroy the entire world. Ha ha ha, brat, go to hell! This destructive lightning was condensed from his bloodline power. This was his full-strength attack, and he didn't hold back at all. As far as he was concerned, this attack was more than enough to kill an expert with 40,000 levels of Archean power. No matter how strong the other party was, he wouldn't be able to withstand it. In the sky, sword energy flickered and collided with the destructive lightning, emitting sizzling sounds. Those black thunderbolts were quickly annihilated by this sword. No, damn it, how is this possible? The two-headed dragon was dumbfounded, not daring to believe it. That was the lightning of destruction, and it carried an extremely strong aura of destruction. However, it was easily destroyed by the other party. How did the other party do it? Damn it, how much ancient power do you have? At this moment, the two-headed dragon's body trembled. He realized that he had made a fatal mistake. He had underestimated the other party too much. The other party's strength had far exceeded his imagination. Not good, run! The dragon swung its tail, tore the void, and turned around to escape. Lin Xian looked at the other party's fleeing figure, and the corners of his mouth curled up into a cold smile. He raised the fire Qilin sword and stabbed out. A fire dragon spewed out, turning into a divine light that directly pierced through the other party's body. No! Boom! A miserable scream accompanied by a corpse resounded in the sky. The huge dragon's body was split in half. The two heads were smashed into pieces, but the soul didn't escape. Chapter 2956. Ha ha! I'll stew you now! Dark Red roared with laughter and kept the huge dragon corpse. Lin Xian stood in the air as he coldly asked, who else had acted earlier? He looked at the 10,000 ancient beasts. The ancient beasts were trembling. Most of them were prostrating on the ground, while a small number of them were gritting their teeth. Damn it, the three royals are here. You're dead meat. As soon as he finished speaking, his head was split open. Lin Xian's voice was cold as streaks of sword chi burst forth. Is that so? Then, let's see if the royal family in your eyes can save you. Those who resisted were killed mercilessly by the sword chi. At this moment, Lin Xian was like the god of death. The remaining ancient beasts were completely subdued. Their bodies were trembling, and many of them fainted. Even the elites of the human race were the same. Brother Yi, Brother Gu, Brother Wu Hua, thank you for your help. If you need my help in the future, don't hesitate to ask. Lin Xian was extremely grateful to the three of them. If not for their help, Murong Qingqing and Xinjingqiu would have been in even more danger. I believe the ancient royals should be in the next region. I'll open the passage to the third region now. Lin Xian turned to the flaming pagoda and formed hand seals. 9 suns split the heavens. The blazing Qilin sword surged forward and split the flaming pagoda in half. The purple sea of flames within the flaming pagoda spun continuously, forming a purple spatial gate. They just had to enter the spatial gate. Lin Xian turned and said to Yi Wudao and the others. Then, he led Murong Qingqing, Xinjingqiu, the Crimson Dragon, and the people from Immortal Hall forward quickly. After entering the purple spatial gate, they disappeared. Behind them, Yu Wudao and the others took a deep breath. Let's go too. Gu Santong, Wu Hua, and the others did the same. They led their own people and flew forward quickly. On the other side, Lin Xian and the others were sent to the next region by the purple spatial gate. The flames here were even more monstrous. The architecture was even more spectacular. After coming out, the Crimson Dragon couldn't wait to ask, "Boy, how strong are you now? That was way too powerful." He was truly stunned. One had to know that he had fought with the two-headed dragon for a long time. Although he could suppress the other party, it was still very troublesome to completely kill the other party. However, Lin Xian had arrived and killed him with a single slash. Even the Crimson Dragon was shocked by such means. Lin Xian said in a low voice, "I've already reached 50,000 Archean powers." "What? 50,000 Archean powers?" Hearing these words, the dragon jumped up. Murong Qingqing, Xinjingqiu, and the others all sucked in a breath of cold air. Peacock and the rest were even more shocked. 50,000 Archean powers! It was no wonder that the two-headed dragon and the female prodigy from the Fire Qilin cave both had 40,000 Archean power. As for Lin Xian, he had reached 50,000 units of Archean power. No wonder he could kill the other party so easily. With a difference of 1,000 units of Archean power, he could defeat the other party. With a difference of 3,000 units of Archean power, he could suppress the other party. Not to mention 10,000 units of Archean power. "Boy, what have you been through?" the Crimson Dragon asked. Lin Xian said, "I took the Fire Spirit Pearl and absorbed the energy inside. It improved my Dragon Sword Soul and 9 Yang Divine Body. That was why my strength had undergone a drastic change." Indeed, Lin Xian had absorbed the energy of the Fire Spirit Pearl in that mysterious space, allowing his 9 Yang Divine Body to enter the 4th level directly. His Dragon Sword Soul had also been greatly improved. That was why his strength had undergone such a drastic change. 50,000 Archean powers! Boy, you're defying the heavens. I don't think many people are your match. The Crimson Dragon was too excited. At this rate, they had a high chance of obtaining the heavenly flame. Lin Xian nodded, but he had doubts in his heart. Was the Fire Spirit Pearl the so-called heavenly flame? Did he not know, or was there an even more terrifying heavenly flame in the depths of Heavenly Flame City? He needed to find out all of this. On the other side, in front of the terrifying palace, the Fire Dragon King, the 9th Lord Fengyin Xue, the 7th Lord Huomuzhen, and the geniuses of the 3 royal families were all standing there. They looked ahead, extremely excited. Huomuzhen heaved a sigh of relief. They had broken through. Previously, the 3 royal families had finally reached an agreement after a tense confrontation. Once they entered, the Fire Qilin cave would get 40% of the treasures, while the nest of 10,000 dragons and the Divine Emperor Ridge would each get 30%. Both sides had agreed, so Huomuzhen led the 3 royal families and began to break the array. After a difficult break, they finally tore a hole in the array in front of them. The hole was only 2 meters long and 1 meter wide. It was very small, but it was enough for everyone to enter. "Let's go." Huomuzhen took a deep breath. The hole could only stay there for 30 minutes. After that, it would be restored again. "After we enter, those people behind us probably won't be able to enter at all. There's no time to lose. Let's go quickly." As he spoke, Huomuzhen took the lead and led the geniuses of the Fire Qilin cave forward. They turned into flames and disappeared into the array. "Let's go too." The Fire Dragon King and Fengyin Xue also led their people and set off. After they left, a figure walked out. He was as tall as a fiend god. He looked at the broken array in front of him and did not say anything. His body and mind shook as he directly rushed in. If a human cultivator was here, he would definitely scream. Because he was the South Emperor, Yan Nantian. After him, the number 1 prodigy of the war tribe also came. He looked ahead, sneered, and also quickly disappeared. After entering the mysterious palace, Huomuzhen led his people and quickly advanced. Behind them, the people of the Nest of 10,000 Dragons and the Divine Emperor Ridge followed closely. Seeing this scene, Huimujian's delicate face was expressionless, but his heart was somewhat gloomy. Damn it, the people of the Nest of 10,000 Dragons and the Divine Phoenix Ridge were really haunting him. They knew a lot about Sky Flame City, so they naturally knew where the treasures were. If they kept bringing the people of the Nest of 10,000 Dragons and the Divine Emperor Ridge, there would definitely be a great battle. This was not what Huimujian wanted to see. However, he could not shake them off because they were not weaker than him. Moreover, they were all ancient royal families and had many trump cards. However, he was unwilling to lead these two groups to search for treasures. Although they were all ancient royal families and seemed to be working together, in reality, there were many conflicts between the 10,000 ancient races. Especially these royal families, they were even more serious and competitive with each other. One had to know that their princes and princesses would definitely have a battle in the future. Moreover, it was a battle of life and death. How could they coexist peacefully? According to the records of the ancient emperor, there were 3 treasures in Sky Flame City. Chapter 2957. Those 3 treasures were the Qilin's Eye, the Heavenly Fire, and the Void Divine Furnace. The Qilin's Eye is of the same origin as us, so only we can get it. It's impossible for the Nest of 10,000 Dragons and Divine Phoenix Ridge to get it. However, it might not be the case for the Heavenly Fire and the Void Divine Furnace. The Qilin Crown Prince asked us to bring the Void Divine Furnace back. 7th Generation Master, what should we do? The genius of the Fire Qilin Cave asked. After Huimujian heard this, he sighed. He thought that things would be simple, but now it seemed that it was much more difficult than he had imagined. Just breaking the formation outside and coming in has cost us too many of our trump cards. And this was the outermost array formation. One could imagine how difficult it would be to obtain the Void Divine Furnace. I'm afraid that I only have a 10% chance of taking it out. However, I have a 70% chance of obtaining the Heavenly Fire, Huimujian said. Let's get the Heavenly Fire first, and then see if we can get the Void Divine Furnace. If we really can't get it, we will return with the Heavenly Fire. I don't think the Crown Prince will blame us too much. All right. The people of the Fire Qilin Cave nodded, and one of the young men revealed a cold smile. 7th Generation Master, why don't we play a small trick and let the people of the Nest of 10,000 Dragons and Divine Phoenix Ridge fight for the Void Divine Furnace? When the time comes, let them kill each other or be killed by the array formation. Wouldn't that be wonderful? The people of the Fire Qilin Cave were thinking of a way to kill the Nest of 10,000 Dragons and Divine Emperor Ridge. On the other side, outside, Lin Xian and the others walked in. What a majestic palace! It was even more terrifying than what they had seen before. From the looks of it, it seemed to have been passed down from ancient times. Seeing this scene, Peacock and the others exclaimed. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. The array formation had been broken. It seemed that the people of the 3 ancient royal families had already entered. What are we waiting for? Let's go in directly. The Crimson Dragon couldn't wait any longer. He was an expert in array formations, so he could tell at a glance that the cracks in the array formation wouldn't last long. He estimated that it would be completely healed in half an incense stick's time. Looking at the power of the array formation, it won't be easy for us to open it. Lin Xian nodded slightly. Golden light flickered in his eyes as he sensed the power within. Then, he said, Peacock, don't go in. The flames inside are too strong. You can go outside and search for other opportunities. Yes. Peacock and the rest answered respectfully. That was indeed the case. Even as they stood outside, they felt a sense of trepidation. The energy inside was simply too terrifying. Even if they went in, they wouldn't be able to hold on for long before they were forced to retreat in defeat. Thus, it was better for them to search for opportunities outside. Alternatively, they could return to the top 3 regions to search for opportunities. Murong Qingqing and Xinjingqiu also gave instructions to the people from their respective sacred grounds. Most of the people from the Purple Sun Sacred Land and the Jade Lake Sacred Land stayed behind. However, there were a few people who wanted to give it a try. Lin Xian didn't care about any of this. The dangerous flames inside were not something that ordinary people could withstand. After giving instructions, Lin Xian led the Crimson Dragon, Murong Qingqing, and Xinjingqiu into the crack in the array formation. Behind them, the previous holy son of the Purple Sun's sacred land gritted his teeth as a look of struggle appeared in his eyes. In the next moment, he roared and charged in as well. Of course, there were 2 other figures following him. Most of the others stayed behind. They were prepared to go to other places to search for opportunities. Not long after, Yi Wudao, Gu Santong, Wuhua, and the other sacred grounds and sects of the human race arrived. When they arrived, they looked at the palace in front of them and sighed in amazement. The fiery aura made their souls tremble. At this moment, Peacock stood up and said to Yi Wudao and the others, "Holy Sun Yi, our hall master has informed us that the array formation is cracked and won't last long. Moreover, it's extremely dangerous inside. We hope that Holy Sun Yi and the others can make a decision as soon as possible." Hearing this, the humans were stunned. Yi Wudao and the others' eyes flickered. He said, "Thank you for the information." He knew that this was a reminder from Lin Xian. Soon, Yi Wudao and the others made a decision. "You guys stay here. It's too dangerous inside. I'm afraid it'll be very dangerous for you guys." Yi Wudao decided to go alone. On the other side, Gu Santong, Wuhua, and the others did the same. These top prodigies decided to go in. As for the others, they were prepared to stay outside. One by one, the figures entered quickly. Finally, the crack slowly closed. The entire array formation once again emitted a terrifying aura. After Lin Xian and the others entered the crack, they completely entered the mysterious palace. They were in a vast hall supported by 16 heavenly pillars. There were 9 passageways around them that led in different directions. Everything inside was grand and majestic. Everything carried a monstrous fiery aura. The flames made the Crimson Dragon and the others have to pay attention. "Why do I feel like this is a little like the palace of the fire god?" Xinjingqiu whispered. Indeed, Lin Xian's expression was solemn as well. This place was simply too strange. Strange beasts were carved on the pillars of flame. It was as if they were alive. It gave them a very uncomfortable feeling. "Forget it. Let's go," Lin Xian said, waving his hand. He wanted to see what treasures were in this mysterious palace. One had to know that he had obtained the Fire Spirit Pearl in the 3rd area. The treasures in the 4th area should be even more precious than the Fire Spirit Pearl. Boom! Just as Murong Qingqing was about to ask which passageway to take, a low voice suddenly came from afar. Following that, flames rushed out from one of the passageways like a giant dragon. Someone was fighting. It should be the 3 from the ancient theocrats. He wondered if they were fighting because they couldn't split the loot evenly, or if they had encountered the array formation's trap. The Crimson Dragon said quickly. Lin Xian's eyes flashed with golden light. He knew more about the Fire Spirit Cave. Therefore, he was right to follow him. Lin Xian and the other 3 flew toward the 3rd passageway on the left. Not long after Lin Xian and the others left, Yi Wudao and the others also came in. When they saw the huge palace and the 9 passageways, they all frowned. It seemed that they could only rely on their own luck. Wuhua shrugged and walked in after finding a passageway. "See you later, everyone." Yi Wudao and Gu Santong nodded and found their own passageways. The Alcade sage, Wuchen, and the others also took their own passageways. In the 3rd passageway on the left, Lin Xian and the others walked carefully. They didn't want to be discovered by the people in front. Qingqing took out the feather. Murong Qingqing took out a flame feather and covered them. All of a sudden, these people disappeared into the void. This feather was a treasure that they had obtained from the Crimson Winged Race's prodigy. It could hide them from their enemies. This was the perfect time for them. Chapter 2958. The group slowly set off. After walking for about half an hour, they arrived at the front. He discovered that the area in front of him was a mess. Countless fragments were scattered everywhere, and there was a terrifying aura lingering on them. From the looks of it, it must have been the three ancient theocrats who had broken one of the tremor mechanisms. Are those puppets? Lin Xian looked at an arm made of metal and was extremely surprised. His figure flashed as he wanted to grab this thing and study it. However, at that moment, a cold voice came from afar. Who is it? Get out here! Oh no, we've been discovered! The Crimson Dragon was stunned. Murong Qingqing and Xin Jingqiu were also extremely nervous. Lin Xian frowned. He said, I'll go out. The three of you continue to hide. Don't attack again and stay by my side. Okay. The Crimson Dragon and the others nodded. Lin Xian's expression was extremely grave. He did not expect the people from the immemorial royal families to be so powerful. He had been discovered as soon as he came out. Fortunately, Murong Qingqing and the others did not attack, so they could still hide. Who's behind us? Get out here quickly, or I'll attack you mercilessly. The cold voice came again with an extremely powerful flame aura. It seemed that they had been discovered by the people from Fire Qilin Cave. Humph! Lin Xian snorted coldly as he charged forward in a flash. He did not hide anymore. He turned into a ray of sword light and disappeared into the passage. Behind them, the Crimson Dragon and the others kept a safe distance. They followed carefully. This time, they did not release any aura. Other than Lin Xian, no one knew of their existence. Lin Xian was very fast, so he soon arrived in front of them. In the next moment, he was stunned. That was because at that moment, there was a great hall in front of him. However, the great hall was too vast, as if it was on the other side of the universe. On the walls of the great hall, there were all kinds of reliefs. They looked like statues of gods and demons that looked down on the world. There were many figures with powerful auras in front of him, but in the great hall, they were like ants. They were almost ignored. However, Lin Xian still noticed it at a glance. They were from the three ancient imperial families. The three primeval theocrats naturally saw Lin Xian as well. The next moment, they frowned. A human brat, and Lin Xian no less. Brat, I didn't expect it to be you. You actually came here on your own. Just nice, I'll kill you here. Many Archean prodigies sneered. Among them, the people from the nest of 10,000 dragons were incomparably ferocious. The Fire Dragon King stared at Lin Xian with a fiery gaze. He knew that Lin Xian had the incomparably mystical Great Dragon Sword Soul in his body. He must find a way to get it. The people of the Divine Emperor Ridge were just as excited. Not only that, they looked around in disappointment to see if Murong Qingqing had arrived. But they didn't notice. The geniuses of the Fire Qilin Cave looked at Lin Xian and sneered. A mere human ant wants to compete with us for treasures? You really don't know what's good for you. Originally, I wanted to let you go. But since you're here, then obediently die for me. These people were ferocious. They didn't put Lin Xian in their eyes at all. Of course, they didn't know what happened in the third area. Otherwise, these people wouldn't have such an attitude. At the back, in a corner, the Crimson Dragon, Murong Qingqing, and Xin Jingqiu were covered by mysterious feathers, blocking their auras. No one noticed. At this moment, seeing the arrogant expressions of the 10,000 ancient races. These guys were really courting death. The Crimson Dragon sneered. That's right. Xin Jingqiu was also angry. How powerful was Lin Xian? He could definitely kill them instantly. Murong Qingqing said nervously. Let's be careful and not expose ourselves. In front, Lin Xian was threatened by so many people, but he wasn't afraid at all. He was very calm as he looked around and said indifferently. If you want to take my life, let's see if you have the ability. Humph, I'll kill you! A domineering voice appeared in the sky. It was like a god of war as a palm pressed down from the sky. Everywhere it passed, the void would shatter. The number one genius of the war race. Zhan Wushuang. Many Archean geniuses exclaimed. They didn't expect that the other party would come too. Lin Xian frowned. The other party dared to attack him? he was courting death. He snorted coldly and was about to attack. At this moment, the seventh generation lord shouted coldly, "Stop!" He waved his hand and directly shot out a flame that turned into boundless flames and blocked John Wushuang's palm. What was going on? The surrounding people were puzzled. The people of the 10,000 Dragon Dynasty and the Emperor Ridge were stunned. Even Lin Xian was stunned. How could this guy be so kind? In the sky, John Wushuang also frowned. His cold voice sounded. Why? Could it be that you want to protect this kid? I don't care about your feud with him, but you can't fight here now, Huamuzhen said coldly. He looked at the sculptures around him. When you attacked, they were still emitting a peerless killing intent. Do you think Sky Flame City is so simple? This starry sky hall contains countless killing intent. If you act rashly here and activate the peerless array formation, all of us will die here. As soon as he said that, everyone's expression changed. They looked around at the god-fiend sculptures and trembled. Indeed, this starry sky hall was too terrifying. It gave them a feeling of endless desolation. John Wushuang's eyes flickered after hearing that, but he didn't attack. All right, I'll let him live first. I'll take his life after we leave this starry sky hall. John Wushuang was very domineering. After that attack, he didn't attack again. Below, the geniuses of the three ancient royal families were whispering. This John Wushuang was too arrogant. That's right, how dare he be so domineering in front of us? Many of the ancient theocrats were extremely displeased. After all, no matter how strong the war race was, they were only a royal family. On the other hand, they were royalty. However, some people frowned. This John Wushuang was incredible. Judging from the way he attacked just now, he had at least 45,000 units of Archean power. Moreover, it was probably not his full strength. A casual attack had 45,000 units of Archean power? Many people gasped when they heard that. That was too terrifying. They estimated that the other party's full strength was at least 48,000 units of Archean power. No wonder he dared to be so arrogant. One had to know that even the strongest geniuses of the royal family only had about 40,000 units of Archean power. For example, the two-headed dragon and the female genius of the Fire Qilin Cave both had 40,000 units of Archean power. John Wushuang was clearly superior to some of the ancient royal family geniuses. Of course, compared to the Fire Dragon King, the 9th generation, and the 7th generation, he should still be a little weaker. However, there was no doubt that he could crush this kid. Chapter 2959. That's right, this kid probably didn't even have 40,000 Archean power. That was for sure. After using all his trump cards, he probably only had 39,000 Archean power. After all, it was so difficult for him to kill Bai Qianshan previously. The people of the three archaic empires discussed animatedly. 39,000 Archean power was very strong, but in front of them, it couldn't cause any waves. Of course, this was only their guess about Lin Xian. They were only guessing based on Lin Xian's previous battle results. They didn't know what happened in the third area previously. Otherwise, they definitely wouldn't think so. Let's go. In front, Huamuzhen led the people of the Fire Qilin Cave and quickly set off. The people of the Nest of 10,000 Dragons and the Divine Emperor Ridge followed closely. In the sky, John Wushuang also followed silently. A wisp of his aura was locked onto Lin Xian. It seemed that he was afraid that Lin Xian would escape. Seeing this scene, Lin Xian snorted coldly. This John Wushuang really didn't know what was good for him. If the other party dared to make a move against him, he wouldn't mind letting the other party experience the taste of despair. At the same time, he narrowed his eyes. That was because through the heavenly secret divine eyes he discovered that there were actually a few figures hiding in the dark. It seemed that there were many experts who came in this time. Lin Xian sneered in his heart. His figure flickered and he quickly followed. He wondered what treasures were inside. Gradually, Lin Xian frowned. This hall was too big. They had been flying for nearly an incense stick's worth of time, but they still hadn't flown out of the hall. The surroundings were very dark and even a little oppressive. Above and around them were those mysterious statues. They were cold. There was an indescribable aura. Suddenly, a low voice sounded, as if a beast was howling, as if a demon had just awakened. As soon as this voice sounded, the people of the three archaic empires stopped in their tracks. They were bewildered. What happened? Did someone appear again? Many archaic paragons frowned. Huamujian's expression changed. Not good, be careful. I'm afraid that some array formation mechanism has been activated. Array formation? Those archaic creatures were facing a great enemy. The power in their bodies was circulating, ready to erupt at any time. They were indeed nervous. The universe starry sky great lightning hall was simply too strange. After flying for so long, he still couldn't fly out. One could only imagine how terrifying the formations here were. Lin Xian also frowned. A golden light appeared in his eyes as he looked around. His heart pounded wildly because he discovered that the surrounding fiend god relief sculptures had actually changed. Quite a few of them had savage looks on their faces. They pressed their hands against the wall, as if they were going to leap out at any moment. No way, could these reliefs be alive? Lin Xian was shocked. The surrounding ancient theocrats also noticed this scene and cried out in surprise. Boom! Boom! Finally, under everyone's horrified gazes, those fiend god relief sculptures rushed out. They stood in the void like fiend gods that had come into being. His cold eyes stared down at Lin Xian and the others. Damn it, this should be a puppet! The prodigies cried out in alarm. The archaic creatures in the nest of 10,000 dragons also had solemn expressions. Judging from their auras, I have a feeling that they have at least 40,000 units of Archean power. It was about time. It was indeed a terrifying array puppet. Many people's hearts sank. Lin Xian was also speechless. About 40,000 units of Archean power was about the same level as the two-headed dragon and the Fire Qilin Cave's prodigies. And this was just the relief sculpture puppets. Fortunately, he did not let Peacock and the others in. Otherwise, they would not be able to resist at all. Indeed, there were not many relief sculptures in the sky, but it made the three archaic theocrats feel as if they were facing a great enemy. Boom! 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 A fiend god relief sculpture had a pair of fiendish wings and a single horn on its head. It held a stone spear in its hand. It walked towards the people from the Fire Qilin Cave. Those who did not know would think that it was a member of the 10,000 ancient races. Oh no, it's coming! The archaic creatures from the Fire Qilin Cave had solemn expressions. Huamujian, on the other hand, sneered. He pointed with his finger. Whoosh! Boom! A small flame flew out from his fingertip. It was so small that it was almost negligible. However, when they came into contact with the relief sculpture puppets, they exploded with a loud bang and turned into a sea of flames. Crack! 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 Rumbling sounds came from the fiend god relief sculpture. Countless cracks appeared, and then it shattered with a loud bang. Killed in one move! This scene made the people from the nest of 10,000 dragons and the divine Phoenix Ridge suck in a breath of cold air. They stared at Huamujian, and their scalps went numb. As expected of the 7th generation lord. His methods were too terrifying. That's right, someone with 40,000 archaic power was easily killed by him in one move. What level had his strength reached? Needless to say, he definitely had 50,000 archaic power. However, no one knew how much he had reached. Tell me, between him and our Fire Dragon King, who do you think is stronger? These people discussed animatedly. As they spoke, the Fire Dragon King also made his move. Dragon shadows filled his body, accompanying his fist as he punched forward. In an instant, the two fiend god relief sculptures were killed. This scene was also extremely shocking. This Fire Dragon King was so strong. 8 Desolation Fire Dragon Fist. This was a great divine ability of the Dragon Clan, and he had cultivated it to such a level. The people from the Fire Qilin Cave also had solemn expressions. The people from the nest of 10,000 dragons were smug. It seemed that their fire dragon king was still stronger. On the other side, Feng Yinxue of the Divine Phoenix Ridge also made her move. She directly took out a jade flute and gently blew it. A mysterious sound wave rushed out. Crack! Crack! Similarly, a fiend god relief sculpture that was charging over was torn into pieces. This fiend god relief sculpture seemed to contain a mysterious power. Feng Yinxue waved her palm, and flames flew out to collect the fragments. On the other side, the Fire Dragon King and Huomuzhen did the same. They also collected these fragments, and brought them back to study. Perhaps they could create such a fiend god puppet. That's great. The people from the 3 ancient royal families heaved a sigh of relief. With these 3 super geniuses taking action, they had no fear at all. Behind them, Lin Xian narrowed his eyes when he saw this scene. It had to be said that the Fire Dragon King and the other 2 were too strong, far surpassing the 2-headed dragon from before. They were probably stronger than Zhan Wushuang. That was interesting. Lin Xian was very interested in these people. He yearned to fight with these people. Of course, now was not the time. He had to hide his strength now and follow behind silently. When he found the real treasure, he would strike like lightning. Along the way, Huomuzhen, the Fire Dragon King, and Feng Yinxue led the way. The fiend god puppets they encountered were all destroyed by them. After killing about 20 fiend god puppets, they walked for a long time. No matter what, it was about time to go out. Chapter 2960. Lin Xian's expression was solemn. He had to admit that Skyflame City was too strange. There were a total of 9 passages, and this was only one of them, yet there were so many terrifying puppets. A single puppet was equivalent to 40,000 Archean powers. The hall was vast and boundless, and there were hundreds of thousands of fiend gods and demons. If all the fiend gods and demons were to be revived, the Fire Dragon King and the others would not be able to escape. Fortunately, it seemed that most of the fiend gods and demons did not react. Only a few fiend gods and demons struggled to crawl out. Everyone heaved a sigh of relief. Who in the world built this heavenly fire city? Was it a super saint? Or a terrifying great emperor? The Crimson Dragon, Murong Qingqing, and the others were even more shocked. It was especially so for Murong Qingqing and Xinjingqiu, who were both stunned. Were all puppets so powerful? The Crimson Dragon gritted his teeth. Damn it, I really want to get the fragments of those puppets. Indeed, it was very tempting to him. He guessed that there was probably a mysterious formation inside those puppets. If he could study it thoroughly, then his attainments in array formations would be greatly improved. However, he could not get it yet. No, I have to think of a way to get that kid to give me some. The Crimson Dragon muttered softly. Moreover, there were also exclamations of surprise because they realized that they were about to reach the end. The front was no longer as empty as before. A passage had appeared again. It seemed to be a passage to leave the vast hall. Lin Xian heaved a sigh of relief. However, in the next moment, his heart pounded wildly. Why did he feel that danger was about to descend? He activated his heavenly secret divine eye and looked around. Soon, he stared ahead. There were 2 statues in the passage ahead. They were extremely ferocious and terrifying. If the 2 statues suddenly appeared at any other time, it would definitely attract everyone's attention. However, the 3 ancient theocrats were already numb to it. The entire starry hall was densely packed with hundreds of thousands of fiend gods and demons. Every one of them was more ferocious and terrifying than those 2. Therefore, they didn't care at all. However, Lin Xian was different. As he possessed the heavenly secret god eyes, he was naturally able to discover the difference between the 2 statues. He discovered that these 2 statues contained a terrifying power that far surpassed the previous puppets. Moreover, this power was becoming more and more berserk, and it seemed like it was about to explode. It was just that it was calm on the surface. Most likely, no one in the entire hall would notice it except for him. There must be danger. Lin Xian unconsciously slowed down his footsteps. He didn't want to remind these people, nor did he want to bear the inexplicable danger. Just as well. Let the formation mechanism deal a heavy blow to the three immemorial dynasties. Let's see if these people will still be so arrogant then. At this moment, everyone's attention was on the passageway ahead. They wanted to leave as soon as possible, so no one paid any attention to Lin Xian. Even Zhan Wushuang, who was above, did not care. Although Lin Xian's speed had slowed down, he still hadn't escaped his range. Humph! Lin Xian's lips curled into a cold smile. Through the heavenly secret god eyes, he knew that the two fiend gods and demons would soon attack. Indeed, in the next moment, the two fiend gods and demons on both sides of the passageway suddenly launched an attack. The two fiend gods and demons instantly came to life. The tails behind them turned into long spears that pierced through the void. Poof! The void split open as the two tails swept across. In an instant, some immemorial creatures were sent flying. There were even people who were split in half. Not good. Huamuxian's expression changed because he was from the Fire Qilin cave. At this moment, they were the ones being attacked. Not only were the creatures behind him injured, but he was also enveloped by the black shadow. Get lost! Huamuxian roared and struck out with his palm. He was the seventh-generation descendant. His strength was extremely terrifying, far surpassing that of ordinary immemorial prodigies. At this moment, under his furious roar, a terrifying energy burst forth as runes flashed across the sky and instantly blasted forward. Boom! Poof! Such terrifying energy could directly kill an ordinary immemorial prodigy, but it couldn't block the attack of the black shadow. With a pff sound, the runes were pierced and blood splattered out. This time, it directly pierced through Huamuxian's shoulder. This scene stunned everyone. Even the people from the nest of 10,000 dragons and the divine phoenix ridge behind them were stunned. Huamuxian was injured. That was the seventh-generation descendant. He was extremely powerful. His ancient power had reached 50,000, suppressing all the others. Such a terrifying person was actually injured. Who was the one who did it? Was it the fiend god puppet? They didn't dare to imagine. Quickly defend! The Fire Dragon King and Feng Yinxue also shouted angrily. However, just as their voices sounded, someone beside them screamed. Among them, in the Fire Qilin cave, a dragon-like creature with black wings was instantly pierced through the head. On the Divine Emperor Ridge's side, a beautiful woman was split in half. Her eyes were wide open. That was because even at the moment of her death, she did not manage to clearly see what had attacked her. Seeing this scene, the front was in chaos. In the sky, Zhan Wushuang and a few figures in the darkness frowned. In the distance, the Crimson Dragon and the others' hearts were beating wildly. Damn it, it was too dangerous. Fortunately, someone took the lead. They felt a lingering fear. Lin Xian looked at this scene and narrowed his eyes, but he sneered in his heart. Because all of this was within his expectations. However, the only thing that surprised him was that the attacks of these two fiend god puppets were too terrifying. They could actually injure Huamuxian. It had to be said that Sky Flame City was really full of fatal dangers. The Fire Qilin cave was at the front, so it was attacked the most fiercely. In an instant, another two heavenly secrets of the Fire Qilin cave were killed. This scene made Huamuxian instantly turn ferocious. He roared angrily. Retreat! At the same time, he charged towards the black shadow. Buzz! Fiery red runes flickered on his body, and a red long saber appeared in his hand. He held it and slashed forward. Clang! The red long saber swept across the sky, and terrifying killing intent and runes flickered as it tried to split the opponent in half. However, such a terrifying saber only made a clanging sound when it struck the fiend god puppet in front of him. It only made a crack, but it didn't split the opponent in half. So powerful? Huamuxian's pupils constricted. It wasn't that he hadn't killed these fiend god puppets before. Although these puppets were powerful, they couldn't withstand a single blow from him. He could kill them with just a casual blow. However, the puppet in front of him was clearly different. The opponent was very strong, and could injure him. Moreover, its defense was even more shocking. His powerful saber didn't pose a fatal threat to the opponent. Not good, this thing is troublesome. Attack together. Chapter 2961. The Fire Dragon King also roared angrily. After all, this puppet was a huge threat to the nest of 10,000 dragons. Roar! A dragon's roar sounded. The dragon blood on the Fire Dragon King's body surged, drowning the entire world. At this moment, he was like a giant dragon that had been born. No one could stop him. He punched out. A terrifying fist accompanied by a dragon's roar blasted towards the godfiend puppet. With a clang, the fist landed squarely on the puppet's body. The puppet was forced back a few steps. A few terrifying cracks appeared on its body, and it almost split apart. However, this puppet was not human after all. It did not feel pain at all. If it were a martial artist, their strength would definitely be greatly reduced after suffering such a heavy injury. They would be in so much pain that they would die. However, these puppets did not react at all. Their attacks did not weaken at all. Whoosh! They opened their mouths and spat out endless flames that swept in all directions. Huemuzhen snorted coldly. His body also ignited endless flames that turned into a qilin to resist. The Fire Dragon King did the same. On the other side, Feng Yingxue also made her move. She urged her jade flute to launch a mysterious soundwave attack. At the same time, a pair of blue divine wings grew out from her back. She was using the ice element to attack. The puppet was of the fire element, so the fire attack did not cause much damage to it. As she spoke, the pair of blue ice wings spat out ice and snow that filled the sky, instantly freezing the entire world. Half-saint artifact, frost wings. Many ancient creatures screamed in surprise. Divine Phoenix Ridge, Phoenix Clan. In addition to the Fire Phoenix, there were also Ice Phoenixes in the clan. Although Feng Yingxue was a Fire Phoenix, she had the half-saint artifact left behind by Bing Feng after his death. This pair of blue wings was it. At this moment, it could really freeze everything. The three top prodigies attacked the two godfiend puppets. An earth-shattering battle broke out. Terrifying energy surged in all directions. The surrounding three ancient royal creatures quickly retreated. Lin Xian also retreated to the side. He sent a voice transmission to the Crimson Dragon, Murong Qingqing, and the others, telling them to follow from afar and not to get close. After a great battle, the two puppets in front of them were shattered into pieces and fell to the ground. The three ancient royal family members had gloomy expressions. This was especially true for Huemuzhen and the other two. Although they had killed their opponents, they were not happy at all. Due to their carelessness, the three royal families had lost some geniuses. Even Huemuzhen had been injured. One had to know that this was simply too inconceivable. Who could injure top geniuses like them? This was only within the palace, and the time to obtain the treasures had yet to arrive. Who knew how terrifying the dangers would be at that time? Everyone's heart was heavy. Huemuzhen harumphed coldly as he collected the corpses of the geniuses of the Fire Qilin Grotto. At the same time, he collected a portion of the fragments of the Fiend God Golem. The same was true for the Fire Dragon King and Feng Yingxue. They would not allow the corpses of geniuses to be spread outside. After doing all this, Huemuzhen said coldly, "Everyone from Fire Qilin Cave, follow closely behind me." This time, they couldn't afford to be careless. Not only the Fire Qilin Cave, but the people of the Nest of 10,000 Dragons and the Divine Emperor Ridge were also on high alert. Even Zhang Wushuang, who was in the sky, had a serious look on his face. Lin Xian, who was following behind, sneered. All of this was similar to what he had expected. Once again, he silently followed behind. Finally, the group of people left the Universe Starry Hall. After passing through the long passage, the front gradually became brighter. After exiting the passage, everyone exclaimed. This was no longer a palace, but a garden. Inside, rockery, flowing water, waterfalls, and all kinds of rare herbs were everywhere. However, most of them were ornamental and had no medicinal value. This made the people from the three primeval empires sigh. At the front, Huamuzin's eyes flickered, and a mysterious light appeared in his eyes. Soon, he arrived near a rockery and stood there with his hands behind his back. It was as if he was sensing something. This scene attracted the attention of the Fire Dragon King and Feng Yinxue. The Fire Dragon King asked, "Why, is Brother Muzhin interested in the scenery here?" He didn't believe that this was just an ordinary scenery. With Huamuzin's identity, what kind of scenery had he not seen? Why would he stay beside a rockery for so long? Could it be that there was some treasure here? Huamuzhin turned his head and revealed his white teeth. "It's nothing. I'm used to seeing mountains and rivers. It's not bad to look at small bridges and rivers." As he said that, he smiled slightly and walked away with the people of the Fire Qilin Cave. Humph! The Fire Dragon King narrowed his eyes, while Feng Yinxue snorted. She also walked over. Her phoenix-like eyes flickered with a shocking light, and countless runes shrouded the rockery. It seemed that she wanted to see through everything. However, after looking for a long time, she didn't find anything unusual. In the end, she could only leave resentfully. The Fire Dragon King also probed and found nothing. Even Zhang Wushuang and a few people hiding in the dark did the same. They also quickly followed. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. He didn't believe that Huamuzhin did this for no reason, unless he wanted to confuse them. Eh? He activated the heavenly secret divine eyes and observed silently. Suddenly he exclaimed in surprise. The aura in the garden was a little strange. It seemed normal, but he discovered that there seemed to be a strange energy here. Sure enough, at that moment, the Crimson Dragon also transmitted his voice to him. He directly used the disc array, so it was more covert than a voice transmission. It would be difficult for those people to discover it. The Crimson Dragon said, "Kid, you've found something." This garden contained an astonishing array formation. An array? Lin Xian's eyelids twitched. Was it a killing array? Damn it, was Huamuzhin trying to kill them with a borrowed knife? It was not a killing array, but a teleportation array. Moreover, it was a very ancient teleportation array. It seemed that it had not been activated for tens of thousands of years. However, the entire array was complete. It could be activated as long as energy was injected. A teleportation array. Lin Xian was surprised. The Crimson Dragon's attainments in array formations were very high. He definitely wouldn't be mistaken. He thought about Huamuzhin's previous actions and immediately understood. Huamuzhin must have been sensing whether the teleportation array was complete or not. It seemed that he had already thought of a way out. Lin Xian sneered. He guessed that Huamuzhin wanted to use the teleportation array to quickly escape from everyone's pursuit after obtaining the heavenly fire. Rosalong, can you change the array? Make it ineffective. Lin Xian transmitted his voice. The Crimson Dragon was stunned, then silently became ecstatic. Kid, are you trying to trick him? Great, I've been wanting to do that for a long time. But I have to study it. Lin Xian said that there was no need to make too big of a move. Just change one or two key positions so that he wouldn't be able to activate it. In a hurry, he would not investigate it carefully. Also, Lin Xian said, don't break it. We might have to use it when the time comes. Chapter 2962. Don't worry, leave the array to me. The Crimson Dragon smiled cunningly. He began to quietly set up the teleportation array. The array was very old, but the Crimson Dragon was very skilled in it. He needed to change it a little. Therefore, it did not take long for him to change the teleportation array. Apart from them and Lin Xian, no one else knew about it. Murong Qingqing secretly smiled. I want to know how the people of the Fire Qilin Cave will react when they find out that the teleportation array is no longer working. Hee hee, they'll probably vomit blood. Xinjingqiu was also looking forward to it. Let's follow them. The Crimson Dragon and the other two quietly followed behind. As they moved forward, it became even more dangerous. one of the prodigies of the divine Emperor Ridge accidentally activated the mechanism and was immediately pierced by a flying sword. His soul was instantly destroyed. This scene made the others even more terrified. It was too terrifying. There were dangers everywhere in Skyfire City. They might be killed mercilessly at any time. Once the mechanism was activated, very few people could escape. Huemuzhen and the others slowed down, especially Huemuzhen. The image of a fire qilin circled around him as if he was facing a great enemy. The Fire Dragon King and Fengxue looked solemn. They knew that perhaps the legendary heavenly flame was not far away. Therefore, they also activated the power of their bloodlines, ready to attack at any time. The people of the three Imperials also looked very solemn. Lin Xian also narrowed his eyes. The sword qi in his body surged, and the heavenly god eye shone with a mysterious light. Finally, after walking for another 2 hours, something changed in front of them. It was a magnificent mountain, and there was a cave at the foot of the mountain. There were 2 stone doors at the entrance of the cave. The 2 stone doors were closed, and the mountain was like a divine volcano, emitting a terrifying aura. Even the Fire Dragon King and the others felt their eyelids twitch. They felt a tremor in their souls. How terrifying! Lin Xian looked up in surprise. Through the heavenly god eye, he saw that the huge mountain carried an extremely powerful force. That was the power of the origin of fire between heaven and earth. Is this the place? Was there a terrifying heavenly fire buried here? The surrounding Archean prodigies discussed fervently. Huemuzhen looked at the cave in front of him with a fiery light in his eyes. On the stone door of the cave, there was a mysterious flame rune. They were vivid and lifelike, as if they were dancing divine flames. Have we arrived? Huemuzhen's face was expressionless, but his heart was wild with joy. According to the ancient texts left behind by their ancient emperor, they knew that there should be a terrifying heavenly flame buried in the cave. However, he did not dare to be careless at all. Although there were no ancient books left behind to tell him how dangerous it was inside, he knew that it was definitely much more dangerous than the outside based on the formations and mechanisms he had encountered along the way. If he wasn't careful, he might die here. Behind him, the Fire Dragon King and Fengxue also walked up. Among them, the Flame Dragon King clapped his hands and laughed loudly. As expected of the Fire Qilin Cave's 7th-generation Great One, his divine bravery was unparalleled. He was actually able to find the place where the heavenly fire was buried. There's no time to lose. Let's hurry up and open the cave entrance. Next to him, Fengxue also could not wait. Huemuzhen snorted coldly. He did not say anything. Since they had already come here, it was impossible to retreat. He took a deep breath and said, "Let's do it together, the 2 of you." As he said that, the 3 of them pressed their palms on the red stone door. As the 3 of them unleashed their powers, the red stone door slowly opened. The heavenly fire that was originally dancing on the stone door was also divided into 2. It's open! It's finally open! Behind them, the archaic creatures were extremely excited. Even Lin Xian became nervous. He could not help but clench his fists. Squeak! He looked forward in surprise. At this moment, the stone door was completely open, revealing the scene inside. However, it was different from the cave he had imagined. It did not seem to be a cave, nor was it a palace or a pavilion. Instead, it was a strange scene. Could it be that this was a paradise in the human world? Heavens, could this be a mysterious space that fell from the immortal realm? The archaic creatures also screamed. That was because the inside was too beautiful. It was completely different from what they had imagined. It was definitely a paradise. Not to mention them, even Huemuzhen was stunned. The Fire Dragon King and Fengxue were also extremely surprised. Along the way, they had encountered too many dangers, formations, and traps. But now, a paradise in the human world had suddenly appeared. It was difficult for them to adapt for a while. Huemuzhen looked forward and carefully sensed. Indeed, in this paradise, he could feel a faint flame power. It should be the legendary heavenly fire. Thinking of this, he took a deep breath and was the first to enter. After him, the Fire Dragon King and Feng Yinxue also entered, unwilling to fall behind. After the three apex heavenly secrets entered, they activated their king domains and bloodline power, as if they were facing a great enemy. After walking for a while, they did not find any danger, and the three of them secretly heaved a sigh of relief. When the 10,000 archaic creatures saw this scene, they were also happy. "Let's go!" They all entered. In the sky, Zhan Wushuang snorted coldly, turned into a golden stream of light, and quickly rushed in. On the other side, a few mysterious figures also entered. Lin Xian also walked in. In the dark, the Crimson Dragon and the other two also quietly followed in. After Lin Xian entered, he was speechless. He was surrounded by a celestial scene, but he could also sense a faint flame origin power. After entering, the 9 suns' divine fire in his body became cheerful. Dark nether grass. Heavens, it was actually dark nether grass. A prodigy of the nest of 10,000 dragons screamed. This was a spiritual herb that no longer existed in the outside world. He was very excited. He turned into a dragon's shadow and instantly rushed over to put away the dark nether grass. This scene made the surrounding archaic creatures extremely envious. Huamuzhen glanced at it and did not care. Although the dark nether grass was precious, compared to the heavenly fire, it was insignificant. His goal was the heavenly fire. As for the rest, he would not care. But gradually, he changed his mind. Because as the surrounding people dispersed, screams of surprise could be heard. Metal spirit fruit. Ink flower. F*CK, could this be a king medicine? Screams could be heard. They realized that this was indeed a paradise on earth. The spirit medicines here were either extinct or king medicines. It was really enough to make people scream. This was a peerless treasure trove. Chapter 2963. Ha 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 ha, this is great. This is a great harvest. The 3 primordial royal family members were excited. Lin Xian was also delighted. He did not expect to encounter so many spirit herbs here. How could he miss it? With the yin-yang 8 steps, his speed was extremely fast. Whoosh! Whoosh! At once, he picked up 2 spiritual medicines that were extinct and 1 king-level medicine. This scene naturally won the dissatisfaction of the others. After all, although there were many spirit herbs here, they were not cabbages. The other party had snatched 3 of them at once. How could these people tolerate this? More importantly, the other party was not a member of the immemorial theocrats. He was merely a human ant. In their eyes, such a person was in existence that they could crush at any time. Previously, they did not kill the other party because they were worried about the formation outside. Now, there did not seem to be any peerless formation here, so they did not have to worry about it. Moreover, the other party was so reckless. It seemed that they had to take action and deal with this human brat in front of them. Do you think that we don't dare to make a move on you now? Without the formation, you are probably just an ant. Go to hell. Many primordial geniuses walked up and stared at Lin Xian with sinister sneers. Obediently hand over the spirit herbs you obtained and the great dragon sword soul. I can give you a quick death. I will give you the time of an incense stick to write down the cultivation method of the 9 yang divine body. Otherwise, I will break all the bones in your body. Kid, hand over the great dragon sword soul and the 9 yang divine body, and I can spare your life. I will let you be my servant, and after 1,000 years I will set you free. These people sneered sinisterly and surrounded Lin Xian. Lin Xian closed his eyes. Why? Finally couldn't help but make a move? It was a good time to exercise his muscles and bones. His figure flashed, and he took the initiative to attack. Courting death. When those people saw this scene, they roared angrily. The other party actually dared to take the initiative to attack them? Go kill him! These people shouted coldly and directly attacked. 2 figures were like gods and demons. They stretched out their large palms and grabbed at Lin Xian. One of them had red claws. He was a genius from the nest of 10,000 dragons. The other was a prodigy of the fire Qilin cave. The flaming Qilin claw shone even brighter. Lin Xian snorted coldly. He was so powerful, why would he be afraid of these people? The light in his eyes flickered and turned into two beams of divine light that pierced through the void. The whole place began to tremble. Terrifying waves of air surged to the heavens. Bang bang! The two primordial geniuses were sent flying. Their attacks were shattered and their bodies were penetrated by the sword Qi. What? How could he be so powerful? The surrounding ancient lifeforms all went crazy. Lin Xian's strength had exceeded their expectations. Damn it, let's attack together. These people acted quickly. Lin Xian sneered. His figure flashed and disappeared. When he appeared, the sword in his hand flickered and enveloped these people. Ah! Cries of surprise rang out one after another as a sword mark appeared on each of their bodies. Not only that, but they also discovered that the spiritual herbs they had just plucked had also been snatched away by a monkey. Damn it, how dare you! These prodigies were so angry that they vomited blood. They originally wanted to rob the other party, but who would have thought that not only did they fail, but they were also robbed by the other party. Boom, boom, boom! Powerful auras erupted. These ancient lifeforms gritted their teeth in anger. They finally stopped holding back. A terrifying aura surged between heaven and earth. Why, do you want to fight? I don't mind playing with you. Lin Xian sneered. The 9-yang divine body bloomed with light, and a terrifying sword intent also erupted. Your opponent is me. I will kill you with my own hands. In the sky, Zhan Wushuang revealed a sinister smile. He couldn't wait any longer. However, at this moment, the Fire Dragon King, Huamuzhen, and Feng Yinxue frowned. Especially Huamuzhen. He discovered that after Lin Xian activated the 9-yang divine body, a terrifying flame aura surged up from the ground. This made his expression turn solemn. The Fire Dragon King also said loudly, "All of you, stop!" As soon as he said this, the people of the nest of 10,000 dragons retreated. Feng Yinxue also called back the people of the Divine Phoenix Ridge. They said that it was better to obtain the heavenly fire first. After all, they were already at the last step. They wouldn't give up the heavenly fire for a human brat. All right, I'll let you live a little longer then. Zhan Wushuang didn't make a move. Instead, he looked into the distance. The heavenly fire was equally tempting to him. Lin Xian sneered. This time, he obtained another king medicine and 3 extinct spiritual herbs. To him, it could be said to be a great harvest. He happily stored these king medicine and spiritual herbs into the black earth. With his hands behind his back, he looked into the distance. He wasn't in a hurry. He would let these people fight first. After the heavenly fire came out, he would make a plan. In front of him, there was a majestic waterfall. However, what flowed in this waterfall was not water, but flames. Monstrous flames and lava poured down from it. The flame aura here was very dense. Below the waterfall was a large lake. It was also incomparably fiery red and filled with lava. Huamuzhen arrived in front of the flaming lake, his eyes flickering. He sensed that the heavenly fire was probably below. However, he didn't act rashly. The others didn't move either. The Fire Dragon King and Feng Yinxue's expressions were unprecedentedly solemn. They felt a sense of trepidation, as if the power below could tear them apart. Brother Muzhen, don't hide anymore. Hurry up and do your best. The Fire Dragon King said in a deep voice. Feng Yinxue, who was beside him, also looked over. Huamuzhen sneered. Do your best? Make a wedding dress for your disciple? He wasn't a fool. He naturally knew that when the heavenly fire appeared, the Fire Dragon King and Feng Yinxue would attack mercilessly. Then what do you want? Feng Yinxue frowned. Huamuzhen said. It's simple. Along the way, I've been leading you to break the array, especially into the 4th area. I've also spent a lot of trump cards and treasures. Now you'll pawn the treasures in your hands to me. I'll break the array. Otherwise, don't even think about it. You! Feng Yixue's face was red with anger. The Fire Dragon King nodded. No problem. Isn't it just some treasures? I'll give them to you. As he spoke, he waved his hand and a storage ring flew out. After Huomuzhen received it, he probed it with his soul and smiled with satisfaction. Very good. What about you? He looked at Feng Yixue. Feng Yixue's face was red, and her beautiful eyes were filled with anger. However, she still stretched out her hand and threw out a storage ring. Huomuzhen also probed it, and then put it away with satisfaction. Good. Both of you, lend me a hand. We'll break the array together and seize the heavenly fire. All right, no problem. The two of them nodded. Buzz. Huomuzhen's eyes shone with a piercing light. His robe fluttered, and the phantom of the fire Qilin appeared and disappeared mysteriously. Chapter 2964. With a wave of his hand, he began to crack the array. Array discs appeared one by one, and were displayed by him. In front of him, the flaming lake flickered with mysterious runes and covered the surroundings. It was obvious that this was a very terrifying array. If anyone attacked rashly, they would probably be burned to ashes immediately. Buzz! Buzz! Huomuzhen's eyes focused as he held a flaming array disc in his hand. There were 49 small fiery red flags on it. Under his control, the flags expanded in the wind and turned into 49 large flags that covered the sky and were inserted into the ground. Each flag was incomparably red and covered with runes. A ferocious Qilin was drawn on the flag. Huomuzhen controlled the array disc with both hands, and the 49 Qilin flaming flags kept changing positions with raging flames burning on them. A terrifying force burst out, enough to destroy the heavens and earth. In front of them, the ancient array trembled slightly but did not break. One could imagine how terrifying this array was. What are you two waiting for? What are you waiting for? Huomuzhen shouted coldly at the Fire Dragon King and Feng Yixue. The Fire Dragon King's eyes flickered. He sighed and attacked. Feng Yixue also attacked. To be honest, the two of them did not want to attack because it was a waste of energy to break the array. Once the array was broken, it would definitely be a chaotic battle. Without energy, it would be difficult to win the battle. Therefore, the Fire Dragon King shouted coldly, Zhan Wushuang, are you still not going to attack? Feng Yixue also shouted coldly. And those hidden in the dark, I know you are all here. However, it was impossible to reap without sowing. It seemed that Feng Yixue wanted to drag all the hidden experts into the water. Figures appeared one after another, and some of them had gloomy faces. Damn it, this woman was so smart that she did not let anyone go. 3 more figures appeared in the surroundings. In addition to Zhan Wushuang, there was South Emperor Yan Nantian, and the last one was a pale and coquettish man. Hua Xinyan, from the Demon King Palace? Yan Nantian looked at him and said with a frown, I didn't expect the famous South Emperor to recognize an insignificant person like me. How surprising. The coquettish man chuckled. Hearing this, the Fire Dragon King and the others frowned. Demon King Palace, from the Demon Clan? The Demon Clan was one of the 10,000 ancient races. However, he was different from them. The demon race had always existed and hadn't gone into hibernation. Therefore, although they were also part of the 10,000 ancient races, their relationship wasn't that close. On the contrary, the relationship between the demon race and the human race was inextricably intertwined. Lin Xian stood at the side and watched. With his heavenly fortune divine eyes, he naturally knew that someone was hiding in the dark. However, to his surprise, it was actually Yan Nantian and the people from the Fiend Imperial Palace. What was the relationship between Hua Xinyan and Hua Tiandu? Thinking about it, he should be an extremely powerful genius of the Demon Monarch Palace. This time, did Yanryu come? Lin Xian's eyes flickered. It had been a long time since he last saw the other party. He wondered how the other party was doing. All right, since they're all here, let's attack together, Huomuzhen said in a deep voice. The others nodded. As long as the formation was not broken, they would not have a chance to seize the heavenly flame even if they wanted to. Several top geniuses joined forces to break the formation. The other ancient creatures were extremely nervous. Lin Xian also retreated far away. He didn't make a move. At this moment, a golden light appeared in his eyes as he quickly analyzed the formation. At the same time, the Crimson Dragon and the others quietly came to his side. Kid, this formation is not simple. I estimate that their chances of success are less than half. Is it that difficult? Lin Xian was surprised when he heard that. One had to know that this lineup was already very powerful. Moreover, looking at the other party's attainments and formations, they should be quite good. In particular, the 49 Qilin flags were a sharp weapon to break the formation. But now, they didn't even have a 50% chance of success. If the two of us work together with them, I estimate that the success rate will be about 70%. The Crimson Dragon secretly transmitted his voice. Lin Xian nodded slightly after hearing that. The Crimson Dragon's attainments and formations were very strong, and his was not weak either. If the two of them worked together, the success rate would be greatly increased. However, Lin Xian would not act rashly. Especially the Crimson Dragon, he could not come out. Otherwise, Murong Qingqing and Xinjingqiu would be in danger. Therefore, Lin Xian waited silently. Boom! Countless runes flickered in front of them, and terrifying energy surged. Suddenly, a crack appeared on one of the Qilin flags. It was very ferocious. Everyone's expression changed when they saw that scene. With a boom, the Qilin flag broke in half. Oh no! Many people screamed. Huan Muzhin's pupils constricted. He had been prepared for this. He shouted coldly, and a young man walked out from among the prodigies of the Fire Qilin cave. He instantly took out a flag to replace the broken one. Continue to break the formation! Huan Muzhin's expression was cold. He had more than one formation, so it did not matter if a flag was broken. Fortunately, he had taken the storage rings of the Fire Dragon King and Feng Yinxue. Otherwise, the loss caused by the destruction of a single banner would make him feel the pinch. However, good things did not last long. Not long after, 3 more terrifying sounds were heard. 3 Fire Qilin flags were broken in half. Furthermore, there were 4 other flags that had cracks on them. There was a loud boom. A violent energy burst out, and all the Qilin flags were sent flying. In front of them, the flaming lake emitted a boundless flame power, forcing everyone to retreat. Not good. The prodigy's expressions changed, and they quickly retreated. The void where they were standing was shattered and burned into nothingness. Damn it, how could this be? Zhang Wushuang frowned. The Fire Dragon King, Feng Yinxue, and the others looked solemn. Huan Muzhin's small face was even more ferocious. His eyes were burning, and his aura was abnormally terrifying. Damn it, he had failed. He had failed. This time, too many Qilin flags were broken, so much so that he could not repair them. However, that was impossible. The formation plate was a precious treasure of the Fire Qilin cave. Previously it had been successful in breaking the formation. But now, not only was he unable to succeed, but he had also lost a lot. He could not believe it. Damn it, the power of this formation was still above his imagination. Could it be that they were going to return in failure this time? However, if they could not even get the heavenly fire, they could forget about the void divine furnace. In the end, they could only return with the Qilin Eye? In this way, the Qilin Crown Prince would definitely not be satisfied. In the distance, Lin Xian's eyes flickered, and he sighed in his heart. Sure enough, just as the Crimson Dragon had guessed, they had failed this time. However, would the Fire Qilin cave really give up? Did they have any trump cards? He did not know. Therefore, he was prepared to wait and see. Chapter 2965. The other archaic lifeforms sighed. The Fire Dragon King's gaze was cold, and Feng Yingxue's face turned cold. The other geniuses also looked unfriendly. Among them, Huan Muzhin's expression was even more ferocious. The ancient creatures of the nest of 10,000 dragons and the divine Emperor Ridge saw that there was no hope, so they prepared to search the surroundings to see if there were any more treasures. Since they couldn't get the heavenly fire, they wanted to get more spiritual herbs to make up for their losses. The Fire Dragon King's eyes flickered as he asked, "Brother Mujin, is there really no other way?" He didn't believe that the Fire Qilin cave only had such means. From the looks of it, the other party was obviously very familiar with Sky Flame City. How could they not have prepared some backup plans? Huan Mujin shook his head. "The array formation is stronger than we imagined. For a while, I have no other way." Hearing this, Feng Yingxue snorted. "No other way? You took our things and said there's no other way? Then, hurry up and return the storage ring to me." She was really angry. Damn it, she originally thought that the people of the Fire Qilin cave had a way to open it, but she didn't expect to be happy for nothing. How could Feng Yingxue be happy? "What did you say? You want it back? Damn it, if it weren't for me, would you have been able to make it here?" Huan Mujin was also angry. Along the way, the people of the nest of 10,000 dragons and the divine Phoenix Ridge followed them like dog-skin plaster. And the Fire Qilin cave was the one who cracked the array formation. Especially the defensive array formation on the 4th level. It consumed a lot of his treasures. But now, the team actually wanted to take back the storage room? What a joke! How could he give up what he had obtained? Huan Mujin's expression was cold. "What did you say? Say it again? Don't think that I don't dare to attack you." A terrifying aura was emitted from his body. Feng Yingxue, who was at the side, shouted, "Come on, I'm not afraid of you. Do you really think that I'm afraid of you just because you're the 7th generation?" Although Feng Yingxue was the 9th generation, she didn't seem to be afraid of Huan Mujin at all. Seeing that the atmosphere was getting tenser and tenser, Lin Xian, who was in the distance, smiled. Why, had they started to fight? If both sides could fight, it would be a good thing for him. Lin Xian's expression was relaxed, but on the other side, it was gloomy and worried. Especially those from the Fire Qilin cave, each and every one of them had gloomy expressions. Their crown prince had given them the task, so if they couldn't get the heavenly flame, they didn't have to go back. "Brother Mujin, is there really no other way?" Fire Dragon King said with a frown. It was not that there was no way. Huan Mujin's voice was cold. Hearing this, everyone turned their heads with a glimmer of hope in their eyes. "What method?" Feng Yingxue asked quickly. The eyes of Zhan Wushuang and the others burned with passion. Huan Mujin snorted coldly and said, "Of course, it was to break the formation. Although this formation is powerful, it has been here for countless years. I don't believe that it is unbreakable. Besides, as long as it's a formation, there's a way to break it. If we study it patiently, we'll be able to break it one day. However, it might take a little longer." At this point, Huan Mujin looked at the people of Fire Qilin Cave and said loudly, "I don't care what you guys do. My Fire Qilin Cave has to break this flame formation and obtain the heavenly flame. How confident are you?" The Fire Dragon King thought for a moment and asked in a deep voice. Huan Mujin stretched out a hand. 50%. However, I'm not sure how long it'll take. It depends on how many people are willing to join forces with me. The Fire Dragon King thought for a moment and said, "I'm willing to join forces with you." "I'm willing too." Seeing that the Fire Dragon King had agreed, Feng Yingxue naturally did not want to fall behind. "All right." Huan Mujin's eyes shone with a cold light. "Great!" He smiled. If the Fire Qilin cave were to do it alone, who knew how long it would take? However, with the help of the nest of 10,000 dragons and the divine Emperor Spirit, it would take a long time. However, it was much stronger than them. Thinking of this, they looked at Zhan Wushuang. "Yan Nantian and the others, what do you think? Since you're here, how can you go back so easily?" Zhan Wushuang said coldly. Hua Xinyan also nodded. They were still very young and had plenty of time to wait. Once they obtained the heavenly flame, their strength would undergo an earth-shattering change. It was definitely a good deal. Lin Xian retreated far away and looked at this scene with a sneer. It seemed that these people were really unwilling to give up. He did not have the time to accompany these people to obtain the heavenly flame. Perhaps he should try to see if there was any other way. Thinking of this, Lin Xian activated his heavenly secret divine eyes. Countless runes appeared in his golden eyes. Suddenly he frowned as if he felt a force. Could it be? He quickly combined and formed a rune that he had obtained in the Black Passage. In the next moment, he was shocked, and a hint of surprise appeared in his eyes. That is? He saw that in the distance, in the void, there seemed to be a divine furnace that was spreading terrifying flames. However, when he wanted to take a closer look, he found that it was gone again. Could it be an illusion? Impossible! Lin Xian had full confidence in the heavenly secret divine eyes. If even the heavenly secret divine eyes had an illusion, probably no one would be able to see it clearly. In that case, there were other treasures in this place besides the heavenly flame? And these people did not know about this treasure. Thinking of this, Lin Xian's heart pounded wildly. Let's go take a look. He secretly sent a voice transmission to the Crimson Dragon trio. At the same time, he quietly retreated. Of course, he had to pretend to be disappointed. Sigh, I originally wanted to see what the heavenly flame was like. I didn't expect you guys to be so useless that you can't even open a formation. Forget it, I'll go and see if there are any king herbs that I missed. As he spoke, he strolled around the surroundings. Damn it, this kid is too despicable. Hearing this, the ancient creatures in front vomited blood in anger. How dare he call them useless? What a joke! This is the incomparably mysterious Heavenly Flame City. Do you think the formation is so easy to break? John Wushuang glanced at the other party, and a cold, killing intent appeared in his eyes. However, he did not make a move. The most important thing now was to think of a way to obtain the heavenly flame. As for the other party, he would deal with him after obtaining the heavenly flame. He did not believe that the other party could escape. After all, the Fire Qilin Cave had led the team along the way. Without the Fire Qilin Cave, these people would not be able to leave at all. Sensing that John Wushuang's gaze had shifted away from him, Lin Xian snorted coldly in his heart. Great! It seems that these people have indeed let down their guard. Thinking of this, he slowly walked towards the place where he saw the mysterious furnace. Behind him, the ancient royal prodigy gritted his teeth. Damn it, attack! Kill that kid! Yes, capture him first, skin him alive, and make him suffer a fate worse than death. The two of them were so angry that they were driven mad. Chapter 2966. One of them was from the nest of 10,000 dragons, and the other seemed to be from the Fire Spirit Cave. The two of them looked at each other and smiled sinisterly. They quickly followed behind Lin Xian. On the other side, Lin Xian saw that no one was paying attention to him, so he sped up. The entire paradise was huge. Other than the flaming waterfall and flaming lake in front of him, there were other strange phenomena in the surroundings. In the distance, there was a valley. In front of the valley, Lin Xian stopped because he saw the mysterious divine furnace in the valley. Kid, is what you said true? Are there really other treasures? The Crimson Dragon and the other two were still hiding in the void. They quickly asked through voice transmission. I did see it, but I only saw it once. When I looked again, it disappeared. Don't panic. I'll try using the 3 mysterious patterns. Lin Xian's expression was solemn. He had activated one of the mysterious patterns before, and now he was going to activate another one. He wanted to see if he could see the divine furnace in the void again with 2 mysterious patterns. Countless runes flashed in his eyes, forming a mysterious pattern that shrouded the area in front of him. Sure enough, in the next moment, Lin Xian saw a divine furnace floating in the void of the valley. The divine furnace was extremely terrifying. There were all kinds of rare beasts on the furnace, and there were also terrifying flame runes. It was like an immortal fire. It was incomparably mysterious. There really is one? Lin Xian was delighted. However, at this moment, he frowned. Beside him, the Crimson Dragon, Murong Qingqing, and the others also exclaimed, "Oh no, someone's coming!" They quickly retreated and opened up a distance. Lin Xian turned around and frowned as he looked behind him. Behind him, 2 rays of light flashed quickly and soon arrived near the valley. "Kid, you're quite good at hiding. But do you think you can survive by hiding here?" "Humph, how dare you provoke us? You're dead meat. Kneel down obediently and hand over all the treasures on you." The 2 of them were very ferocious. Both of them had powerful auras that had reached 40,000 Archean power. "Kid, I know you defeated by Qianshan, but in front of us, you're still an ant. Each of us can easily kill Bai Qianshan. We are the geniuses of the imperial family. It's not something you can imagine. Now that the 2 of us have joined forces, you have no chance of survival. So, kneel down obediently." "Humph! A mere 40,000 units of Archean power? You dare to say such words in front of me?" Lin Xian shook his head slightly. "The 2 of you are no match for me. If you want to die, then go ahead." "What a reckless fellow!" The expression of the prodigy from the nest of 10,000 dragons darkened. His eyes were filled with cold, killing intent. Dragon blood surged on his body, and his dragon scales shone with a dazzling light. His killing intent turned into killing swords that enlarged in the sky and slashed forward. "Not good, retreat quickly." In the dark, Murong Qingqing and Xinjingqiu's expressions changed. These 2 prodigies were no weaker than the 2-headed dragon from before. Was this the prodigy of the immemorial theocrats? Every single one of them was so powerful. Facing the blood-colored killing swords, Lin Xian's face was filled with disdain. He stretched out a palm and grabbed forward. The sky was filled with golden light. His palm was like a god-fiend, shaking the 9 heavens. With a boom, he grabbed the blood-colored killing swords and shook them forcefully. All the killing swords were shattered. "I've said it before, 40,000 units of Archean power is no match for me. If you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish." A cold aura appeared in Lin Xian's eyes. His heart was filled with killing intent. He had to kill these 2 prodigies. Otherwise, the secret of the valley would be exposed. "Damn it, this kid is so strange. His physique is very strong. Let's attack together." The prodigy from the nest of 10,000 dragons shouted. On the other side, the prodigy from the Fire Qilin cave also nodded. He opened his mouth and spat out a small red flag. It was very similar to the Qilin flag that Homuzhen had used previously. There was also an incomparably ferocious Qilin drawn on it. This time, it was not just a Qilin head, but a complete Qilin pattern. As soon as it appeared, it quickly enlarged and buzzed in the sky. Terrifying flames shrouded the surroundings. "Kid, go to hell." The heavenly secret from the Fire Qilin cave grabbed the red flag and waved it non-stop. Terrifying energy erupted and swept over. On the other side, the prodigy from the nest of 10,000 dragons also sneered. He took out a purple spear and thrust it forward, piercing through the 8 desolations. If the 2 of them attacked together, they could definitely kill the other party easily. However, they were wrong. The current Lin Xian was no longer the same as before. He had 50,000 units of Archean power. Even if the other party joined forces, they wouldn't be able to pose any threat to him. Sure enough, Lin Xian punched out with both fists, and the 9 suns' divine flames burned fiercely. "Destroy!" The punch landed on the red Qilin flag, causing it to dim and lose its luster. It broke in half from the middle. With his other hand, he grabbed the dragon-shaped spear and broke it into 6 pieces. In an instant, their magic treasures shattered. The 2 of them were also affected and spat out blood. Their eyes were filled with shock and horror. "Damn it, impossible! How can you be so strong?" They were about to go crazy. The 2 of them had 40,000 units of Archean power. How terrifying was it when they joined forces? There was probably no one in the human race who could be compared to them. But now, the ant in their eyes had actually shattered their weapons so easily. They even suffered internal injuries. This scene was simply like a dream. "Damn it, this kid has been hiding his strength." His strength was above 40,000 units of Archean power. No, I have to report this to the 7th generation. The expressions of the two changed drastically. They realized that they had been careless. The other party had been hiding his strength. He must be up to something. The two of them turned around and wanted to leave. You still want to leave? Stay. Lin Xian's eyes erupted with a piercing cold light. How could he let the two of them leave? So in the next moment, he pulled out the fire Qilin's sword. With the stab of the sword, the two heads flew up and their souls were instantly destroyed. Lin Xian didn't hold back at all with his sword. Puff! Puff! Blood burst out, dyeing the ground red. The two of them widened their eyes with infinite fear. They didn't expect the other party to kill them so easily. The 9 suns' divine fire appeared in Lin Xian's palm, and he wanted to burn the two corpses to ashes. However, he didn't notice that a portion of the blood of the two prodigies flew into the valley and landed in the void. That was the blood of Archean prodigies, and it was the blood of the dragon race and the Qilin pearl. It had a mysterious power. Therefore, when it landed in the valley, it finally alarmed the mysterious furnace. Buzz! Crack! Crack! The surrounding void shattered, and a terrifying power surged out, causing the entire world to lose its light. Violent tremors came, as if a god was awakening. Oh no! Lin Xian's expression changed. Retreat! Chapter 2967. The Crimson Dragon and the other two had long been pushed far away. Lin Xian also used the yin-yang 8 steps, turned into a stream of light, and left in an instant. As soon as he left, a ball of flame rippled out from the valley. It was completely formed by interweaving runes and spread in all directions. In an instant, the void shattered, and the corpses of the two archaic prodigies were instantly burned into dry corpses and fell to the ground. In front of the flaming lake, Huomuzhen, Fire Dragon King, and the other top heaven rankers did not immediately make a move. They sat down cross-legged and prepared to adjust their bodies to their peak. Then, they would make a move. Suddenly, they felt a terrifying fluctuation coming from afar. Buzz! These people all opened their eyes in shock and bewilderment. Damn it, what happened? Such a terrifying power! Could it be that someone triggered a peerless array formation? As they spoke, the expressions of these top prodigies changed. Because they knew that many archaic creatures were looking for spiritual herbs in the surroundings. Perhaps someone had accidentally touched the array formation. If that was the case, things would be troublesome. Damn it, let's go and take a look! Feng Yinxue shouted and took the lead. Fire Dragon King and the others also rose into the air. They turned into streams of light and flew into the distance. In front of the valley, the void slowly closed, and Lin Xian landed on the ground again with a gloomy expression. That attack just now was very terrifying, enough to destroy everything. Perhaps only a saint would be able to withstand it. However, the strange thing was that the surroundings did not collapse. It should be related to Sky Fire City. Whoosh! 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 In an instant, Fire Dragon King and the others arrived near the valley. They floated in the sky and looked down, frowning. When they saw the two charred corpses on the ground and Lin Xian, they were instantly enraged. Damn brat, how dare you! They roared crazily. Damn it, the other party is so reckless. They could not tolerate the fact that he dared to kill the disciples of the archaic royal family. Soon, their gazes were attracted by the things in the ravine. Someone screamed. What is that? Heavens, could it be that it's a treasure? Many people screamed. Many primordial creatures had already arrived. They looked into the valley and saw the divine furnace floating in the void. They were extremely shocked. In the sky, the pupils of the Fire Dragon King, Feng Yinxue, and the others also shrank. They felt a tremor in their souls. The aura emanating from the divine furnace was simply too terrifying. The flames dancing on them were capable of easily annihilating them. In the sky, Huomuzhen looked at the valley, and his pupils shrank. What is this? His face was filled with shock and disbelief. He looked as though he had seen a ghost. The other sky prides from the fire spirit cave were also shocked. Why is this thing here? They were all stunned. Seeing this scene, the fire dragon king frowned while Feng Yishue's face darkened. Damn it, do you know there's a treasure here? He was truly mad with rage. This fire Qilin cave's people were too hateful. He knew that there was a treasure, yet he kept it a secret. If it weren't for the energy fluctuations, they would have been kept in the dark. Zhan Wushuang and the others also came and went. Huamuzhen also coldly snorted. I don't know either. This thing is here, so I have no reason to lie to you. So, you still know about the existence of the treasure? Feng Yinxue did not back down. Huamuzhen sneered. What a joke, why should I tell you? Besides, do you think you have the strength to obtain this void divine furnace? You can't even get the heavenly fire, and you still want the void divine furnace? What a joke! As soon as these words came out, everyone's heart skipped a beat. Indeed, the aura emanating from the void ahead was too terrifying. A wisp of flame could probably kill them instantly. To obtain such a treasure, at least a saint had to make a move. Below, Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. Void Divine Furnace, so this treasure was called the Void Divine Furnace. It seemed that the people from the Fire Qilin cave had long known about the existence of this treasure. Damn it, he really knows a lot about this. I wonder, what other secrets do they know? Above, Feng Yinxue and the others also landed. They looked at the Void Divine Furnace in the valley ahead with flickering eyes. I don't believe it. Is it really as powerful as you said? As she spoke, she formed a seal with her palms and spat out a drop of blood essence. Accompanied by flames, it turned into a phoenix and rushed forward. Everyone watched with rapt attention. As soon as the blood-colored phoenix arrived at the valley, it was attacked by a terrifying attack and was instantly enveloped by countless flames. Boom! In an instant, it was burned to ashes and no longer existed. What? So powerful! Many Archean creatures screamed. Feng Yinshua's eyelids twitched wildly. She knew the power of this attack. However, they could not even rush into the valley. One could imagine how terrifying the valley ahead was. The Fire Dragon King, Zhan Wushuang, and the others also looked solemn. Huamuzhen sneered. Don't waste your energy. The Void Divine Furnace is protected by the 8 Barons Divine Fire Array. That array is even more terrifying than the array that protects the Heavenly Fire. We can't even break the Heavenly Fire Array, let alone the 8 Barons Divine Fire Array. Many people sighed. It seemed that the Void Divine Furnace was much more difficult to obtain than the Heavenly Fire. They should think of a way to break the Heavenly Fire Array. Perhaps they could even obtain the Heavenly Fire. If they stayed here, not only would they not be able to break the array, but they would also be in danger. As everyone prepared to leave, Huamuzhen stared at Lin Xian. He said in a deep voice, Kid, tell me, how did you find this place? At this point, an incomparably terrifying killing intent surged from his body. Although the 2 corpses on the ground had been roasted into charcoal, he could still sense that one of the corpses belonged to the Fire Qilin cave. As soon as he said this, everyone looked at Lin Xian. This kid was a living eyewitness. Perhaps they would be able to obtain some information from him. Lin Xian snorted coldly. I came here to look for the Herb King. However, you 10,000 Archean tribes were reckless and insisted on barging into the valley. In the end, you were burned into a dried corpse. Lin Xian would not say that he had found the Void Divine Furnace on his own initiative. That was impossible. Huamuzhen frowned. If the Void Divine Furnace had been here all along, we would have sensed it. It was obvious that it did not appear before. It must have appeared because you triggered some array mechanism. Tell me, what is going on? On the side, Zhan Wushuang sneered. There was no need to talk nonsense. Wouldn't it be more convenient to capture him and search his soul directly? As soon as he finished speaking, he stretched out a large hand and grabbed Lin Xian's head. From the looks of it, he wanted to seal Lin Xian and then forcefully take his soul. Do you think I'm really afraid of you? Lin Xian was also furious. This John Wuhan had provoked him time and time again. Did he really think that he was a pushover? In the next moment, a piercing cold light burst out from his eyes. He waved his arm and turned into a golden sword light that slashed forward. Chapter 2968. Boom! The flaming sword streaked across the sky, emitting a dazzling light. With the roar of a dragon, it collided with the giant palm in the sky. With a loud bang, the giant palm was pushed back. What? The Archean prodigy's expressions changed when they saw that. That kid blocked John Wushwang's attack? Even the Fire Dragon King and the others frowned. How can that kid be so strong? Has he been hiding his strength all this while? Feng Xuet and the others also stared at Lin Xian, trying to see through him. John Wushwang's face darkened. He did not expect that Lin Xian could block his attack. No wonder you dare to be so arrogant in front of me. You will die today. Do you think I'm afraid of you? Come, let's fight to the death. Lin Xian was furious. Since I can't get the heavenly fire or the void wave divine furnace, I might as well fight to my heart's content. As he spoke, he soared into the sky and flew into the distance. Since you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish. John Wushwang sneered. Although Lin Xian could block his attack, he did not care. That was just a casual attack from him. He did not believe that Lin Xian could block his attack with his full strength. Therefore, he turned into a streak of light and rushed into the distance. Damn it! The rest of you should go and take a look. Huimuzhen ordered his Archean creatures to follow him secretly. At the same time, the Archean creatures of the three Imperials flew into the distance. Firstly, they wanted to see how strong Lin Xian was. If Lin Xian was really captured, they could not let John Wushwang take advantage of him. Murong Qingqing and Xinjingqiu were extremely nervous. The Crimson Dragon transmitted his voice to them. Don't worry, that kid should be fine. Don't forget. He has 50,000 Archean power now. Let's wait and see. These guys. What should we do next? Since Huimuzhen had sent people to keep an eye on John Wushwang and Lin Xian, he was not too worried. If anything happened, he would rush over immediately. Therefore, he planned to go back and crack the formation to see if he could get the heavenly fire. The Fire Dragon King and the others had the same plan. However, Yan Nantian did not leave. Not only that. He even walked towards the valley ahead. What was this guy trying to do? Could it be that he had gone mad? This scene surprised Huimuzhen and the others. The surrounding Archean creatures exclaimed in shock. The Crimson Dragon and the others also frowned. This guy was rumored to have obtained the inheritance of the great emperor. They wondered how terrifying his means were. But no matter what he did, he couldn't block that terrifying flame. Therefore, everyone was very confused. What was Yan Nantian trying to do? Whoosh! Lin Xian landed on the plains. In the sky, John Wushwang sneered and looked down like a demon. Brat, have you chosen a place to be buried? But don't worry. I won't kill you so easily. I'll catch you first. I'll take your soul. Then I will pull out your tendons and flay your bones. I will let you know. This is the result of provoking my battle clan. John Wushwang's murderous aura soared to the sky, causing the surrounding void to tremble. Humph! Lin Xian did not say anything. He pulled out the blazing Qilin sword and slashed forward. This scene made the Archean Skypride's eyelids twitch. Was this brat crazy? He actually dared to fight John Wushwang? John Wushwang was comparable to the 7th generation of the great emperor. He was a top-notch Skypride. How could this brat block him? Hee, just wait and see. He's definitely dead. These people watched the battle from afar with cold smiles on their faces. What a reckless brat! John Wushwang was also furious. His eyes shone with a cold light. Who was he? What was his strength? Even the Fire Dragon King and the others would not dare to attack him. However, this brat in front of him dared to attack him. He swore that he would make him regret it. Get lost! With a cold shout, his fist moved forward. Heavenly Divine Fist. The terrifying fist shadow bombarded the sword chi. The sword chi was sent flying into the void, creating a terrifying and bottomless crack in the void. This scene made the Archean Skypride's eyelids twitch. How could this brat's swordsmanship be so powerful? He had indeed concealed his strength. It seemed that his Archean power was above 40,000. Damn it, how was this possible? The Archean Skypride's faces darkened. This was already comparable to them. They were the high and mighty dragon race. They had the bloodline of the Dragon Emperor, which was why they were so powerful. How could a human ant be so powerful? He was not the descendant of the Arch. John Wushuang's face darkened. This time, his strength had increased again. However, it was only to send the sword chi flying. This made him realize that this brat in front of him was very powerful. It was beyond his expectations. However, he was confident that he could kill this brat. However, before he could do anything, Lin Xian attacked again. Interesting. No wonder you dared to kill me. But it was a pity. Next, I'll let you have a taste of my 9-yang swordsmanship. Lin Xian's voice was sonorous as the divine flames on his body surged. The blazing Qilin sword in his hand emitted tens of thousands of rays of light. All the spiritual energy in the world turned into seawater and gathered toward the long sword in his hand. Buzz! The blazing Qilin sword seemed to have come alive. Its light intensified, and even the shadow of a blazing Qilin flashed. This scene instantly caused the expressions of the other Archean prodigies to change. Damn it, that's the blazing Qilin sword. How could the treasured sword of the fire Qilin cave be in his hands? These people were crazy. However, they did not have time to think too much because Lin Xian had attacked. He slashed out with his sword, which turned into a divine rainbow and slashed directly at John Wushuang. In the sky, the sword light shone like a fire dragon and descended from the sky. The terrifying power pierced through all directions. Humph! You overestimate yourself. I'll let you know the difference between us. John Wushuang's eyes shone brightly. He clenched his hand into a fist and punched out like a god's fist. The entire world trembled as countless large cracks erupted. Clang! This punch collided with the longsword again, and with a sonorous sound, the longsword was sent flying. However, that godlike fist had also disappeared. However, the power on John Wushuang's body became more and more terrifying. Especially his eyes, which seemed to have turned into two divine lamps. His biting cold killing intent was firmly locked onto Lin Xian. Kid, you've completely angered me. He rose into the air and strode towards Lin Xian. In the distance, the Archean Skyprides were extremely shocked. He blocked it again. The two of them were actually evenly matched. Damn it, impossible! That kid definitely couldn't be so strong. It must be the treasured sword in his hand. That should be a sage-level artifact. The Archean Skyprides of the Nest of 10,000 Dragons said coldly. The Skyprides of the Fire Qilin Cave gritted their teeth. That's right, the blazing Qilin sword was definitely the treasured sword of the Fire Qilin Cave. But why was it in his hands? Chapter 2969. Damn it, I have to get to the bottom of this. How did he get it? These people are going crazy. That sword belongs to one of the Fire Qilin Cave's prodigies. However, it's in John Wushuang's hands. Could it be that something happened to one of their prodigies? Now, I can't get out of here. Only by capturing John Wushuang can I find out what happened outside. In front of him, Lin Xian looked at John Wushuang, who was walking towards him, and sneered. He waved his arm and attacked again. With a slash of his sword, the terrifying sword chi turned into a fire Qilin and roared. Roar! The power of this slash was even more terrifying. As soon as the fire Qilin appeared, it suppressed all directions. Countless large cracks appeared in the void and a black hole appeared. As if it was connected to hell, the fire Qilin roared in the black hole. Damn it, how can he be so powerful? In the distance, the Archean prodigy's bodies started to tremble. Zhang Wushuang also frowned, and a trace of seriousness appeared in his eyes. He had to admit that he had underestimated his opponent. That sword technique is indeed very powerful. But so what? He shouted coldly, clenched his fist, and attacked again. Boom! 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 Each of them was like the sun. Not only that, his body swayed, and his speed was extremely fast. He tore through the void and charged towards Lin Xian. That was because he was completely enraged. He did not intend to be entangled with Zhang Wushuang anymore. He wanted to capture Zhang Wushuang in the most ferocious manner and forcefully take his soul. Whoosh! In an instant he arrived in front of Lin Xian. Die, kid! He revealed a sinister smile and attacked at lightning speed. His large hand carried a sky full of lightning and struck in all directions, completely enveloping Lin Xian. Lin Xian's body was penetrated by the lightning and disappeared. Oh no! An afterimage? Zhang Wushuang's pupils constricted. He could feel a biting cold murderous intent behind him. A sword light cut through the void and slashed towards his back. God of War armor! Zhang Wushuang roared, and mysterious runes appeared on his body. They quickly intertwined to form an armor to protect his body. At the same time, he changed positions and dodged quickly. Clang! When the sword landed on the divine battle armor, an earth-shattering sound rang out, causing Zhang Wushuang to be knocked back. The second sword slashed down from the sky. However, Zhang Wushuang dodged it. The sword brushed past his opponent's body and only managed to cut off a strand of his hair. What? Zhang Wushuang was pushed back. Seeing this scene, the other paragons felt their scalps go numb. Originally, they were here to keep an eye on Zhang Wushuang. After all, after Zhang Wushuang captured Lin Xian, they had to report it to their 7th-generation lord. But now, they realized that it was really a problem whether Zhang Wushuang could catch Lin Xian. The current Lin Xian was simply too strong. He was so strong that it exceeded their expectations. In fact, there were quite a few people who were trembling so much that they were on the verge of kneeling down. Damn brat, I want you dead! Zhang Wushuang soared into the sky and stood in the void like a celestial demon. Mysterious runes appeared on his body. Forming a series of hand seals, Zhang Xian swiped his hands across the air. The void where he was became extremely distorted, as if it had turned into chaos. How terrifying! What kind of cultivation technique is this? Why do I feel that he has distorted the entire space? The other paragons in the distance screamed. Indeed. Lin Xian struck out another golden sword light towards his opponent. However, the sharp sword chi became distorted in front of his opponent. None of the sword strikes could break through the space. Seeing this scene, Lin Xian frowned. The other paragons in the distance also exclaimed. Damn it, this Zhang Wushuang was too strong and strange. These people from the war tribe were all lunatics. They were born to fight, so they definitely had many mystiques and cultivation techniques. They were not weaker than the Silver tribe. As the top paragons of the younger generation of the war tribe, Zhang Wushuang's strength was indeed terrifying. Such a terrifying sword chi was actually neutralized by him. It was truly unbelievable. Lin Xian was also surprised. Originally, he had suppressed Zhang Wushuang with a few sword strikes. He thought that he could win easily. He did not expect his opponent to have some tricks up his sleeve. Especially now that his opponent was standing in a distorted space, it was as if he had changed the entire world. He caused all the sword chi to deviate from him. Interesting. As expected of the top paragons of the war tribe, Lin Xian's lips curled into a smile. He attacked again. He waved his sword again and again. At this moment, Lin Xian executed the 9-yang sword technique and displayed a powerful force. Flames flickered in the sky, and the entire world seemed to be melting. Just the sword chi alone made the paragons in the distance tremble, because they realized that they could not block the other party's sword chi. While they were shocked, they also felt a strong sense of fear. Buzz, buzz, buzz. At first, Zhang Wuxuang could still distort space and change the direction of the sword qi so that they could not get close. But later, Zhang Wuxuang's expression changed. He was originally confident and calm, but he was shocked again. Because he realized that the other party's sword qi could directly break through the void. He had a mystique that could turn the void into nothingness, but he could not. The other party's sword qi contained an aura that could destroy everything. Damn it, it was the great dragon sword soul. Zhang Wuxuang gritted his teeth. As a member of the war tribe, he had a deeper understanding of the great dragon sword soul than the other paragons. He knew that the great dragon sword soul could destroy everything. Therefore, he did not intend to passively defend anymore. He was prepared to take the initiative to attack. Buzz! A long saber appeared in the sky, emitting a bright light as it was held in his hand. Bright moon saber! Could it be that treasure? In the distance, a paragon from the nest of 10,000 dragons exclaimed. His eyes flickered as he stared at the saber in the sky. That's right, it was the bright moon saber. He did not expect Zhang Wuxuang to have the bright moon saber. It was not weaker than the fire spirit sword. That's right, that kid did not have the advantage of a weapon. Could he continue to suppress Zhang Wuxuang? It would be very difficult. He would probably be suppressed and might even be killed. In the distance, the paragon sneered again. Zhang Wuxuang's aura erupted. His eyes were sharp, and his black hair danced wildly. It was as if he had turned into an unstoppable saber god. Kid, the game is over. Zhang Wuxuang waved the bright moon saber, and saber lights that were like full moons pressed down from the sky. The saber light flashed, and killing intent soared into the sky, causing the expressions of the paragons in the distance to change again. Too powerful. I can't block his saber at all. Damn it, this guy can definitely compete with our Lord Fire Dragon King. He is actually not weaker than the 9th generation Lord. They were all stunned. At this moment, Zhang Wuxuang was incomparably powerful. Every slash of his saber sent the flaming sword qi flying. Countless large cracks appeared in the sky. Fortunately, this was the incomparably mysterious Sky Flame City. Otherwise, this attack would definitely be able to sink everything within a radius of 1,000,000 miles. If the two of them continued fighting, the people within a radius of tens of millions of miles would probably be plunged into misery and suffering. Chapter 2970. Soon, Zhang Wuxuang split the sea of fire and the sky. Then, he strode forward. Go to hell, brat. He slashed down with his saber again, and the cold saber light emitted a terrifying aura. It was as if a heavenly river had descended from the sky and slashed toward Lin Xian. The commotion here had already alarmed the ancient royal families in the distance. A few figures were hurrying over. However, most of them did not move. The Fire Dragon King, Feng Yingxue, Yan Nantian, and Hu Xinyan all frowned. They naturally felt that there was an earth-shattering battle in the distance. In fact, even they were surprised by that surge of energy. In the dark, Murong Qingqing and Xinjingqiu were also very nervous. The Crimson Dragon also frowned, but at this moment, no one left. Their gazes were fixed in front of them. At this moment, something even more shocking was happening in the valley. This was even more terrifying than the battle between the top prodigies. Therefore, even though they knew that Lin Xian and Zhang Wuxuang were fighting in the distance, no one went over. On the other side, the ancient prodigies who were watching the battle also kept retreating. They had no choice. The battle in front was really too terrifying. The saber light soared into the sky and turned into a murderous sword qi. The entire sky was shaking. If they did not retreat, they would probably be cut in half. A saber light like this was enough to kill these ancient royal prodigies. How could they not be shocked? Lin Xian was also met with great resistance, but he wasn't afraid. His eyes shone with a cold light, and the divine fire on his body surged. The dragon soul in his body roared. He used the blazing Qilin sword to perfection, and each strike was extremely terrifying. It collided with the bright moon saber. Each time, it was an earth-shattering collision. Buzz! The long sword danced, and on the blade, endless flames jumped and turned into a scorching sun. It kept rotating and squeezing, filling the sky as if it was going to crush the entire world. A monstrous scorching aura spread out. The sea of fire surged and covered the entire sky. At this moment, there was fire everywhere, and it was enough to destroy and melt everything. Buzz! On the other side, John Wushuang roared as well. The bright moon saber in his hand shone brightly. Under the blade, a crescent moon was formed. It emitted a cold aura that could freeze everything. The 9 suns and the luminous moon were two completely opposite forces. When they collided, it was truly enough to destroy the world. Boom! Those primordial geniuses were sent flying. They screamed crazily. Lord Seventh, come quickly! Lord Dragon King, we can't hold on any longer. They were furious, waiting for the arrival of the Flame Dragon King and Huimuzhen. Together, they suppressed Lin Xian. Otherwise, the other party might really overturn the situation. However, no matter how they shouted, no one came over. The Fire Dragon King and the others did not appear. The Archean prodigies were terrified. Damn it, what happened? Could it be that something had happened in the valley? They did not dare to imagine. They wanted to investigate, but at this moment, between heaven and earth, the cold moonlight enveloped everything, cutting off all probing. The archaic paragons could only dodge with all their might to protect themselves. Damn it, what the hell is going on? They could not figure it out. Finally, in the midst of endless fear, between heaven and earth, the blazing flames disappeared, and so did the terrifying moonlight. The void returned to normal. Only the large cracks were quickly healing. Lin Xian and John Wushuang stood in the void, facing each other. The aura on their bodies did not weaken at all. Instead, it became even colder. It made the Archean prodigies feel dizzy. Damn it, how could the two of them be so powerful? They are not from the royal family, but they are even more terrifying than us. Had John Wushuang and that human kid reached such a heaven-defying stage? This was really a huge disaster. They wondered if the Flame Dragon King and Lord Seventh could suppress the two of them. The Archean prodigies were terrified. On the other side, John Wushuang was even more shocked. To be honest, in his opinion, the other party had always been an ant. Although he was a human prodigy, he could not withstand a single blow in front of him. He could easily suppress him with a wave of his hand. But now, he had already used the luminous moon blade, and it was a peerless blade technique. However, he could not do anything to the other party. He was even suppressed by the other party. It was only because he had a battle constitution and a treasured blade in his hand that he could withstand the other party's attacks. Otherwise, if it were any other Archean prodigies, they would have been killed long ago. No, this kid had the 9-yang divine constitution and the dragon sword soul. If he was allowed to continue growing, he would definitely be a powerful enemy. It would be difficult to contend with him on the path to becoming a great emperor. Therefore, he had to get rid of him today. Thinking of this, John Wushuang's eyes burst out with cold killing intent. He decided that he could not let the other party continue to grow. You want to kill me? I think you should go to hell first. Lin Xian sneered. He also had the intention to kill, because he also realized that the other party was very powerful. One had to know that an ordinary prodigy, even the 10th generation grandchild, would have been killed by him. But now, the other party was actually evenly matched with him. He had to admit that the war tribe was indeed a very mysterious and terrifying race. He could not let the other party continue to grow. He moved the blazing Qilin sword in his hand and the divine fire on his body burned. At this moment, he seemed to have turned into a sword god. He merged with the blazing Qilin sword as a powerful sword aura swept in all directions. A sword light flew across the 9 heavens and charged towards John Wushuang. John Wushuang snorted. It's useless. No matter how strong you are, you can't hurt me. He waved the bright moon blade and faced the attack. Heavens, that blade can kill us instantly. But the other party easily neutralized it. The Archean prodigies in the distance felt their scalps go numb. Seeing that the other party had neutralized the sword, Lin Xian looked very calm. His eyes were very calm. Because all of this was within his expectations. In the next moment, the dragon sword soul in his body was activated and let out a loud dragon roar. The 9-yang divine fire on his body was constantly rotating. It formed mysterious runes one after another. Buzz! In the sky, the sword light shone and turned into a fire dragon that charged towards Zhan Wuxuang again. Zhan Wuxuang snorted and slashed forward with the bright moon blade. With a clang, it slashed at the blazing Qilin sword aura and exploded with a shocking vibration. But this time, it was not sent flying. Not only that, the fire dragon roared and the flames on its body surged into the sky. It continued to attack Zhan Wuxuang. The bright moon blade in Zhan Wuxuang's hand danced continuously, and turned into a silver river. Damn it, what kind of sword aura is this? Zhan Wuxuang's face changed again. The sword aura this time was far beyond his imagination. It was as if he was not facing the sword aura, but a real dragon. A monstrous fire dragon. Kill! Lin Xian roared and continued to attack. Chapter 2971. One strike after another, a fire dragon flew out with each strike. Hundreds of sword energies were released in a row, and the entire sky exploded. Countless fire dragons surged and roared as they charged towards Zhan Wuxuang. This scene caused the primordial elites to scream in horror. Damn it, how could he have such power? Impossible, that fire dragon sword energy should be his trump card. It was already impressive that he could use it once, how could he use it hundreds of times in a row? These people were all stunned. In their opinion, the fire dragon sword energy was so powerful that it must be a powerful killing move. Since it was called a killing move, it couldn't be used too much. However, Lin Xian's actions had completely exceeded their expectations. They were all stunned. Especially those from the nest of 10,000 dragons, their bodies were trembling. Damn it, I can actually feel the suppression of my bloodline and soul. They were about to vomit blood. They were real dragons, but in front of this sword energy, they couldn't help but kneel down and tremble. Zhan Wuxuang's expression also changed. His gaze was gloomy as he used his terrifying battle strength to send all the fire dragons flying. However, gradually, his heart sank. Because Lin Xian continued to attack. He seemed to have endless divine power. Soon, thousands of fire dragons surged out and enveloped the entire world. They even engulfed Zhan Wuxuang. These fire dragon sword energies were evolved from the 9-yang sword technique and the great dragon sword soul. They were really powerful. Just one of them was enough to kill all the primeval theocrats. At this moment, thousands of fire dragons attacked together and surrounded Zhan Wuxuang. They really had the power to destroy heaven and earth. Those primordial elites all fainted from fright. In the entire immortal realm, all the space was trembling. Other than the valley that was still intact, the other places were all covered in terrifying cracks. Ah! Zhan Wuxuang roared as he used his bloodline power and activated his unparalleled battle body. With the bright moon saber in hand, he slashed in all directions like a demon king. He sent all the fire dragons flying. But gradually, his expression changed. This was because every time he sent one flying, 10 fire dragons would rush over. When he sent 2 flying, 100 fire dragons would rush over. No matter how strong he was, he couldn't resist such a terrifying sword chi divine ability. Damn it, how could he be so strong? Could it be that his power would never dry up? For the first time, Zhan Wuxuang felt fear. After killing more than 500 fire dragons in a row, Zhan Wuxuang's face turned solemn. This scene immediately convinced the sky prides who were watching from afar. In their eyes, this was simply a godlike existence. However, what made them even more alarmed was that the number of fire dragons in the sky did not decrease. Instead, it increased. It was as if there was no end to them. Finally, under such a terrifying attack, Zhan Wuxuang showed a flaw. The 3 fire dragons crashed into his body and sent him flying. Fortunately, he had an unparalleled battle body, which gave him a strong physique and a top-level armor. Even so, his armor was still shattered. Zhan Wuxuang spat out a mouthful of blood that dyed the sky red. "Damn it, you actually dared to hurt me!" Zhan Wuxuang roared crazily. His eyes were like lightning that could see through everything as he looked into the distance. In the endless void, Lin Xian held the killing sword in his hand and stepped on the dancing fire dragons. Countless dragon shadows floated around him. At this moment, he was like the supreme dragon emperor that made people tremble. Damn it! Seeing this scene, Zhan Wuxuang's eyelids twitched wildly. He knew that this battle couldn't continue. After killing more than 500 fire dragons, he was already injured. At this moment, there were thousands of fire dragons around him. How could he fight? Let's go. With a cold snort, Zhan Wuxuang decided to retreat. Firstly, he was no longer confident in this battle. Lin Xian's strength was far beyond his imagination. Secondly, he was very confused. Logically speaking, such an earth-shattering scene should have alarmed the entire space. Why didn't the Fire Dragon King and the others come? Could it be that something had happened in the valley? He didn't know. He had to go over and take a look. His body swayed, and he tore open the void and flew into the distance. You want to leave? Do you think you can? Lin Xian sneered and waved his long sword. Countless fire dragons surged out and charged towards Zhan Wuxuang. Damn it, get out of my way! Zhan Wuxuang roared and swept his right leg. It turned into a divine spear and blasted away some of the fire dragons that flew over. He blasted away a total of 5 fire dragons, but there were more that were charging towards him. Kid, do you really want to force me to kill you? Zhan Wuxuang roared and the bloodline power in his body surged. A powerful force suppressed all directions. He was really angry. His opponent had gone too far. He guessed that his opponent must have used all his trump cards to kill him. He didn't want to fight, but it didn't mean that he was afraid of his opponent. That was because he still had a few powerful killing moves that he hadn't used yet. As long as he used them, it wouldn't be difficult to kill his opponent. However, he wanted to use these trump cards to fight for the heavenly fire and the mysterious divine cauldron. Therefore, he didn't want to use them now. However, if his opponent really didn't know what was good for him, he didn't mind using some of his trump cards to kill the detestable kid in front of him. Going too far? Lin Xian sneered. Back then, when you attacked me time and time again, did you think that you were going too far? Now that you can't beat me, you think you're going too far? What a joke! As he spoke, he swung his sword a few more times. Suddenly, the fire dragons that filled the sky hit the bright moon's saber and made it tremble. The light on the saber dimmed a lot. Zhan Wuxuang's armor was even shattered. Many parts of it fell off. His body was also charred black. It was burned by the 9 suns' divine fire. Buzz! The bright moon saber was almost sent flying by the impact of 300 fire dragons. This time, Zhan Wuxuang's injuries were even more serious. His body was dyed red with blood. Damn kid, I'll never let you off. The next time I see you, I'll kill you with my saber. After saying that, Zhan Wuxuang turned around and fled. The Archean paragons below were all stunned. What? Zhan Wuxuang fled? Zhan Wuxuang, one of the most powerful geniuses in the 8 barren lands, had escaped? And the person who was chasing after him was actually a human kid? This made everyone feel as if they were in a dream. It was unreal. Where did he run to? Lin Xian snorted coldly. Stepping on the dragon shadow, he quickly gave chase. In the mysterious valley, the Fire Dragon King, Huamuzhen, Fengmixue, and the others were stunned. Even the Crimson Dragon King and the others were dumbfounded. To be honest, the battle in the distance really made them anxious. They wanted to see how the battle between the 2 sides was going. However, they didn't leave because something even more shocking happened in front of them. At that time, they wanted to leave, but Yan Nantian stood out and prepared to enter the valley. This scene made the expressions of Huamuzhen and the others change. They frowned. What was Yen Nantian doing? Chapter 2972. Although the other party was powerful, he should be on par with them. Even they, who had the royal bloodline, did not dare to enter, but the other party dared to try. Did he want to die? Oh, Brother Yen, you want to enter the valley? Huisin Yen asked with a smile. Yen Nantian did not say anything. His expression was solemn, and his body exuded a mysterious aura. Mysterious runes surged out of his body and surrounded him. Soon, he arrived in front of the valley. If he took another step forward, he would enter the valley. Those people's hearts were in their mouths. Previously, Fengshua's city had cast a crimson phoenix, but it was burned to ashes by the terrifying divine fire in the valley. It was conceivable that the divine fire in the valley was enough to threaten them. They did not know where Yen Nantian got his confidence from to fight against those things. Could it be that he had a treasure in his hands? Did he have a sacred artifact? They did not know. Yen Nantian's expression was extremely solemn. He stared at the divine furnace in the valley. Buzz! A piercing light burst out from his eyes. He formed a seal with his palms, and mysterious runes rushed into the sky one after another. As soon as the runes appeared, the world changed. A violent energy rushed out, causing the Fire Dragon King and the others to tense up. Huimuzhen also felt that the blood in his body seemed to be melting. Fengshua's expression changed drastically. Oh no! What's that? They quickly retreated to the back. In the dark, the Crimson Dragon King and the others also changed their expressions and quickly retreated. Fortunately, they were not close to the valley. At this moment, only Yen Nantian was left in front of the valley. There were 9 mysterious runes flashing around him. Are those Taoist runes? Feeling the shocking power, the Archean prodigies trembled. The Fire Dragon King and the others were extremely solemn. They stared at the 9 ancient runes. They shook their heads slightly. To be honest, they did not understand what those runes were. Judging by the aura, they must be Taoist runes. It was too terrifying. Even they felt like they were being penetrated. However, the other party was not a saint. How could he use Taoist runes? Taoist runes were condensed and manifested by the laws of heaven and earth. They were used by saints. Unless, of course, the other party had the legendary born Taoism aptitude, which allowed them to fuse with the Taoism since birth, allowing them to cast Taoist patterns even before they became a saint. However, they had never heard that Yen Nantian had such a constitution. Damn it, this guy actually has such a trump card. Once these 9 talismans that were close to Tao patterns appeared, they might really be able to allow the other party to enter the valley. Sure enough, the 9 mysterious runes revolved around Yen Nantian, providing him with great power. Yen Nantian took a deep breath, then took a step forward and entered the valley. As soon as he entered, countless divine flames appeared in the valley and surged toward him. Fortunately, these 9 mysterious runes were too terrifying. He had actually managed to block the attacks of the mysterious flames. Seeing this scene, everyone's heart beat wildly. He went in, this guy actually went in. Heavens, could it be that he could really obtain the illusionary divine furnace? Even Huimuzhen's expression changed. Yen Nantian also heaved a sigh of relief. Clearly, he wasn't too sure before. However, the current situation allowed him to settle down. In the next moment, the corners of his mouth curled up into a smile as he walked forward again. 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps, Yen Nantian gradually walked toward the center of the valley. The distance between him and the illusionary divine furnace was getting closer and closer. Everyone's hearts were in their throats. In the dark, the Crimson Dragon, Murong Qingqing, and Xinjingqiu's eyes were wide open. Among them, the Crimson Dragon was extremely shocked. His head kept shaking. Xinjingqiu, who was next to him, was very worried. She said, "Big strange dragon, you're not going crazy, are you?" Murong Qingqing also asked through voice transmission. "Could it be? What did you find?" The Crimson Dragon gasped and also said through voice transmission, "Damn it, That's not a Tao pattern. If it's not a Tao pattern, what is it? Emperor pattern. He actually knows the Emperor's talismans. Damn it, he has indeed obtained the inheritance of a great emperor. Emperor pattern. Are you saying that those are the talismans left behind by a great emperor? Murong Qingqing was also extremely shocked when he heard that. Xinjingqiu's little face was even more dazed. The great emperor was the existence at the peak of the martial arts path. It was the dream of all warriors. No one knew exactly how strong the great emperor was. After all, no one had seen it with their own eyes. However, from the records in the ancient books, they knew that once a great emperor appeared, he would reign supreme and sweep across the universe. No one in the world was a match for him. It could be said that he was the strongest person. He could easily kill countless saints. He could turn the world upside down with a raise of his hand. One could imagine how terrifying the talismans left behind by such a person were. It was no wonder that he could resist the mysterious flame with only 9 talismans. This Yan Nantian was too amazing. They wondered which great emperor's inheritance he had obtained. Murong Qingqing's expression was solemn. Xinjingqiu's little face turned pale. Wouldn't that mean that he was invincible? As soon as this talisman appeared, even a saint would not be able to break it. This was simply an invincible position. However, the Crimson Dragon shook his head. The true great emperor's talismans were naturally unparalleled in the world, but Yan Nantian was only a young man. How could he display a complete emperor's talisman? I think he must have only comprehended a trace of the emperor's talisman, and evolved these 9 talismans. If these 9 talismans were the true emperor's talismans, not to mention this valley, the entire Sky Flame City would probably be destroyed. So that's how it is. Murong Qingqing and Xinjingqiu finally understood. Yan Nantian must have obtained the great emperor's inheritance, and comprehended some of the great emperor's talismans. At this moment, the techniques that he displayed had indeed surpassed them. Do you think he can succeed? Murong Qingqing was nervous. Xinjingqiu even said that if he went, those people would not let him go. When the time came, there would be a great battle. They wondered how Big Brother Lin Xian was doing. They were very worried about Lin Xian's situation. There was no hurry. They would wait and see. Although he had the great emperor's inheritance, his strength was still too weak. He was not a sage yet. Sky Flame City was too mysterious. More importantly, the flames on the Void Wave Divine Furnace were too terrifying. They wondered if Yan Nantian would be able to obtain it. The Crimson Dragon's eyes flickered. Everyone else held their breaths. The Flame Dragon King stared at it for a long time and screamed. I know! This is an Emperor's talisman. Huamuzhen and Feng Yinshua's pupils shrank when they heard this. Emperor's talisman. No wonder it had such terrifying power. This was not a Tao talisman. Tao talisman was something that existed in heaven and earth. It was something that sages comprehended and used. However, talismans were different. Talismans were created by experts based on their own experience, or Tao talismans. However, different experts created different talismans with different strengths. The talismans created by the great emperor were definitely terrifying and mysterious. A single talisman could probably kill a sage. This was the peak of the great emperor. The members of the immemorial theocrats were shocked. Chapter 2973. He didn't expect Yan Nantian to be so powerful. He even had great emperor runes. Huamuzhen's eyes flickered, and his face was extremely gloomy. The 9 great emperor runes blocked the mysterious flame. Yan Nantian must have other tricks up his sleeve. Perhaps it was passed down by the great emperor. If that was the case, he might really be able to obtain the great void divine furnace. Huamuzhen's eyes were filled with anxiety and gloominess when he thought of this. Because before this, no one could do anything, so they just let it be. But now, Yan Nantian had such a trick up his sleeve. Should he make a move? To be honest, he definitely wanted to make a move. After all, The great void divine furnace was extremely precious. However, if he made a move now, he would fall out with Yan Nantian. Even the Fire Dragon King, Feng Yixue, and the others would not hold back. They would definitely make a move. At that time, there would be a huge battle. It would be great if he could obtain the Great Void Divine Furnace in the end. If he couldn't obtain it, he probably wouldn't even have a chance to obtain the Heavenly Fire. After all, if he made a move, these people would no longer be in the alliance. Moreover, it seemed that Yan Nantian was very confident. However, whether he could succeed in the end was still unknown. Therefore, Huamuzhen's mind was filled with thoughts. On the other side, the Fire Dragon King and Feng Yixue also had solemn expressions. It seemed that they were also struggling. Hua Xinyan had a sinister smile on his face. No one knew what he was thinking. In the dark, the Crimson Dragon and the others were all waiting for an opportunity. In the valley, Yan Nantian walked forward with the help of the 9 great runes. However, he stopped in the end. This was because there were terrifying flame runes flashing in a 10-mile radius around the Great Void Divine Furnace. From the top of the cauldron, it spread out in all directions, forming a terrifying formation. This should be the 8 Desolation Divine Fire formation that Huamuzhen mentioned. This formation was so terrifying that even Yan Nantian didn't dare to casually step forward. It wasn't that he didn't want to, but that he couldn't. This was because when he took a step forward, the 9 great runes on his body cracked. This made him know that he couldn't go any further. However, it was already very difficult to reach this place. Next, he had to use another method. Having obtained the Great Emperor's inheritance, he didn't just have the Great Emperor's talisman. Yan Nantian took a deep breath. His body glowed brightly as he formed one ancient seal after another. In the next moment, the void above the valley swirled and turned into a vortex. A mysterious hand that was as long as a hand emerged from the vortex and grabbed at the illusionary divine furnace. Seeing this scene, Feng Yixue frowned. No, if he could grab it from a distance, he would have snatched it long ago. He had unleashed a blood phoenix phantom before, but it was burned to ashes as soon as it reached the valley. Even though Zhang Xian was only using his palm, his fate was likely to be similar to that of the Crimson Phoenix. He would probably be burned to ashes in an instant. However, in the next moment, Feng Yixue's eyes widened in disbelief. He discovered that the mysterious palm did not shatter. Instead, it moved downward and enveloped the illusionary divine furnace. Damn it, how is this possible? Not to mention him, even the Fire Dragon King and Huamuzhen's pupils shrank. It seemed like the other party's methods were indeed mysterious. Hua Xinyan and Yan also stopped smiling. Their expressions became solemn. The Ancient Chaos Hand. I didn't expect you to obtain the inheritance of the Ancient Chaos Great Emperor. The Ancient Chaos Great Emperor. The Fire Dragon King and the others looked solemn. They naturally had a deep understanding of the human race's great emperors. The Ancient Chaos Great Emperor was a very terrifying one in the past. In the dark, the Crimson Dragon King and the others were also shocked. They finally figured out which great emperor's inheritance Yan Nantian had obtained. Could it be that he was really going to get it? Feng Yixue murmured. The Fire Dragon King's eyes shone with a cold light. He was already prepared. As long as Yan Nantian took the illusionary divine furnace and left the valley, he would make his move. He wouldn't let the treasure fall into the hands of others. On the other side, Huamuzhen sneered. It was impossible. He was too greedy. He shook his head. Although Yan Nantian had displayed powerful strength and even used the Ancient Chaos Hand, he didn't think that the other party would succeed. His understanding of the illusionary divine furnace was deeper than others. With such a terrifying divine fire, perhaps even a saint wouldn't be able to stop it. Not to mention the other party. Sure enough, in the next moment, a large crack appeared on the Ancient Chaos Hand. The illusionary divine furnace was overflowing with flames as if it was going to burn everything. Yan Nantian's face was incomparably pale. His eyes were filled with deep shock. He didn't expect that he wouldn't be able to catch it. Instead, he would be injured by the other party. Thinking of this, he sighed in his heart. It seemed that it was impossible to completely take away this mysterious and terrifying illusionary divine furnace. However, he wouldn't give up. Since he couldn't take it away, he would open it in front of everyone. He wanted to see what kind of treasure was in the illusionary divine furnace. In the next moment, he grabbed the cauldron of the illusionary divine furnace. With a boom, the ancient chaos hand erupted with a terrifying aura. It directly grabbed the top of the furnace, and then pulled it up forcefully. At this moment, Yen Nantian was like a great emperor who had awakened and displayed terrifying strength. The 9 runes beside him were constantly shining. While resisting the attacks of the divine fire, they were frantically absorbing the spiritual energy here to provide Yen Nantian with power. Boom! 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 The ancient chaos hand unleashed its might. The top of the illusionary divine furnace rumbled, and a crack appeared. Seeing this scene, Huamujian's pupils shrank. Damn it! Could it be that he could really open the illusionary divine furnace? Thinking of this, his heart thumped wildly. The others also looked solemn. It seemed that there was hope. Even if they couldn't take away the illusionary divine furnace, it was still extremely good to snatch the treasure inside. The Crimson Dragon who was hiding in the dark was also extremely shocked. This Yen Nantian was really terrifying. Usually, he hadn't seen him fight many times. He didn't expect his methods to be so terrifying. It seemed that he had to be more wary of him in the future. Open! In the valley, Yen Nantian roared. The 9 runes on his body erupted at the same time. They were like 9 suns. The ancient chaos hand also became solid. It was as if the real hand of a great emperor had descended from the sky. It directly lifted the top of the illusionary divine furnace. With a boom, the illusionary divine furnace let out an earth-shattering sound. A desolate aura rushed out in all directions. A terrifying pressure shrouded everyone's heart, causing their souls to tremble. However, their eyes were fixed on the front. They wanted to see clearly what was inside the illusionary divine furnace. However, the illusionary divine furnace was too mysterious. It was chaotic inside. It was as if it wasn't a furnace, but a real world. They couldn't see clearly at all. In this chaotic void, there was a fiery red light that streaked across and circled above the illusionary divine furnace. It carried a terrifying flame energy and a thick fragrance. This fragrance was simply too astonishing. Even the Crimson Dragon King and the others had never seen it before. What was that? Chapter 2974. A divine pill? They widened their eyes because they realized that the fiery red light kept changing, but it looked like a pill. A pill from the great void divine furnace. It had existed for countless years. This was an immortal pill. These people were stunned. Their breathing quickened, and their eyes turned red. They wanted to snatch it immediately. After all, Sky Flame's city was extremely mysterious. Even the great emperors could not see through its mysteries. It was rumored that this was a huge city that fell from the celestial world. The pill inside was definitely an immortal pill. Brother Yen, let me lend you a helping hand. At this moment, the Fire Dragon King laughed loudly. His eyes shone with a cold light. The dragon blood on his body surged, turning into a fire dragon shadow that roared in the sky. That fire dragon was extremely valiant and extraordinary. It extended a dragon claw and grabbed towards the valley. It wanted to grab that fiery red immortal pill in its hand. Humph! Let me give you a helping hand too. Huamujian also attacked. The fire Qilin on his body shone brightly. Qilin arm! With a roar, endless bloodline power formed a Qilin arm in front of him and grabbed at the immortal pill. On the other side, Feng Yingxia shouted. She did not say anything, but she also attacked with all her might. The phoenix shadow rushed into the sky. This time, it was much more terrifying than the blood phoenix. They attacked aggressively. It seemed like they wanted to snatch the immortal pill that had just appeared. Hua Xingyan also made his move. The 4 top sky prides attacked together. In the valley, Yen Nantian snorted coldly. He had used all his strength to open the great void divine furnace and obtain such an immortal pill. How could he give it to others? With a roar, the 9 runes around him shone brightly. He was about to counterattack. However, at this moment, his pupils shrank. Not good. He quickly retreated. The great void divine furnace in front of him reacted to the attacks of the 4 top sky prides. There was a loud boom. A terrifying force burst out from the great void divine furnace. Together with the 8 barren divine fire array, it exploded and swept out in all directions. Boom! Boom! The attacks of the 4 top sky prides shattered in an instant. The fire dragon, the Qilin arm, the phoenix shadow, and Huasinyan's powerful attack were all turned into ashes. The ancient chaos hand was not spared either. It shattered in an instant and turned into nothingness. It was simply too powerful. It was simply not something that they could withstand. The Fire Dragon King, Feng Yunshui, and the other 3 were injured. They retreated and vomited blood, their faces pale. Yen Nantian, who was in the valley, was the first to bear the brunt of the attack. In an instant, he was engulfed by the endless divine fire. Damn it, did I fail? Huamuzhen gritted his teeth in anger. Feng Yunshui and the others also had ugly looks on their faces. That strike just now had made them tremble. Fortunately, they were outside the valley. Otherwise, they would likely end up in an extremely miserable state. Thinking of this, they looked ahead at the valley that was surrounded by endless flames. Was Yen Nantian killed? Even though he had the monarch talisman, they did not think he could survive the attack. Unless a true great emperor had awakened. In Murong Qingqing, Xinjingqiu was equally nervous. The dark red divine furnace shook its head. Damn, what a pity! A descendant of the earth had been killed just like that. Whoosh! Just when everyone thought that Yen Nantian had been burned to ashes by the divine fire, the void outside the valley split open and a figure appeared. It was Yen Nantian. However, his face was abnormally pale, without a trace of blood. He's not dead? Everyone was dumbfounded. Even the Crimson Dragon was stunned. What's going on? How did he do it? Logically speaking, even a sage would not be able to withstand such a terrifying divine fire. How did he survive? Could it be? The Crimson Dragon looked at the valley. In the valley, the terrifying divine fire slowly disappeared. A broken talisman slowly floated down from the sky. The ancient Chaos Talisman. You actually have such a thing? Huasinyan also screamed. The Fire Dragon King and the others were also shocked. No wonder he could survive. They had heard of the ancient Chaos Talisman before. It was equivalent to a death substitute talisman. In times of crisis, Yen Nantian would probably use such a precious talisman to save himself. Indeed, Yen Nantian's face was extremely gloomy, as if blood was about to drip from it. He felt a pang of meat. The ancient Chaos Talisman was extremely precious. Even he did not have many of them. Every time he used it, he would have one less. It was a life-saving measure. No matter how big the crisis was, once he used the ancient Chaos Talisman, he would be able to escape. Originally, he thought that he might not be able to use it in this lifetime. But who would have thought that in this mysterious valley, he would actually use up an ancient Chaos Emperor talisman? What was worse was that he did not obtain any treasures at all. The ancient Chaos Talisman. You're actually the successor of the ancient Chaos Emperor. At this moment, a cry of surprise came from the sky. Then, a figure descended. Zhan Wushuang. At this moment, Zhan Wushuang was in an extremely sorry state. His black hair was disheveled, his body was bleeding, and his armor was broken. Yen Nantian snorted and looked at the other party. Then, he was stunned. Not only him, but the Fire Dragon King and the others were also stunned. What's going on? Zhan Wushuang was injured. What was he doing? Zhan Wushuang seemed to be seriously injured. Could it be that he had activated some supreme array again? Otherwise, he would not be so injured. Let's see where you can run to. Just as they were shocked, a cold voice came from the sky again. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Endless dragon shadows wrapped around a figure and quickly descended. It was Lin Xian. At this moment, Lin Xian was like a sword god. He was murderous and unstoppable. He pointed the blazing Qilin sword at Zhang Wushuang. What? It's this kid? Could it be that Zhang Wushuang was injured by this kid? That's impossible. The Fire Dragon King and the others were stunned. They stared at Lin Xian in disbelief. This shouldn't be. Zhang Wushuang was just an ant. How could he be so powerful? Zhang Wushuang was at the same level as them and was extremely powerful. However, although this human kid was powerful, they did not take him seriously. From the beginning to the end, they did not even look at each other in the eye. But now, the ant in their eyes had actually managed to injure geniuses of the same cultivation level as them. And from the looks of it, he had been chasing after him. Damn it, how could this be? What was going on? Huan Muzhen and the others looked gloomy. They tried to recall the geniuses they had sent out. Because they had been watching the battle, they thought that they would know what had happened if they called those geniuses over. Whoosh, a few figures ran over from afar. It was Liang Luo. Soon, Huan Muzhen and the others looked extremely gloomy. It was really this kid who had injured Zhang Wushuang. Moreover, this kid had hidden his strength, which was far beyond their imagination. Damn it! This made them restless. They did not expect another peerless enemy to appear. Lin Xian stared at Zhang Wushuang. At the same time, he stared at Yan Nantian. He was really shocked. It was rumored that Yan Nantian had obtained the inheritance of a great emperor. He did not expect it to be confirmed today. Moreover, it was Great Emperor Ancient Chaos. Chapter 2975. He had seen how Yan Nantian tried to snatch the Void Divine Furnace. However, Yan Nantian did not succeed in the end. However, this did not mean that Yan Nantian was weak. On the contrary, Yan Nantian was ridiculously strong. One had to know that the Fire Dragon King and the others could not do anything. However, Yan Nantian did it. Moreover, he almost succeeded. Was this the successor of the Great Emperor? He was indeed terrifying. Originally, Lin Xian had assumed that only Leaf Dowdenier and Dustless would be a match for him among the humans. However, it seemed that Yan Nantian was really terrifying. His skills were probably above Wu Dao's. Damn brat, don't you go too far. Zhang Wushuang roared in anger. Even now, Yan Nantian still dared to point his sword at him. This made him very embarrassed. Lin Xian retracted his gaze from Yan Nantian. He then looked at Zhang Wushuang in disappointment and sneered. Why? Did you think that someone would back you up just because you came here? You're still fighting the #1 genius? What a piece of trash. You need someone to back you up. Forget it. A piece of trash like you is not worthy of my help. Lin Xian retracted his sword. You! Zhang Wushuang was so angry that he vomited blood. He really could not defeat Lin Xian now. Moreover, he was injured. It was not good for him to use his trump card now. Hence, he snorted and stared at Yan Nantian with a gloomy face. He swore that he would not let Yan Nantian go as long as he had the chance. Lin Xian ignored Zhang Wushuang. He did not attack again. After all, Zhang Wushuang was not the only one here. The Fire Dragon King and the others were also here. If he wanted to attack, these guys would definitely attack. There was another reason as well. The Fire Spirit Pearl that he had previously absorbed was actually reacting to him. He had already absorbed the energy in the Fire Spirit Pearl. However, the Fire Spirit Pearl did not shatter. It was like a sparkling crystal that remained in the mysterious small sword. At this moment, the Fire Spirit Pearl vibrated again. Something must have triggered the Fire Spirit Pearl. Was it the Void Divine Furnace? Or the mysterious Heaven Fire? Lin Xian did not know. However, he felt that this might be an opportunity. Therefore, he did not intend to attack again. On the other side, the Flame Dragon King and the others also had gloomy expressions. They looked at the great Void Divine Furnace in front of them, shook their heads and sighed. If even Yen Nantian couldn't get it, then they probably wouldn't have a chance either. Therefore, these people either left the valley and returned to the fiery lake to prepare to break the formation and seize the heavenly flame. Otherwise, they would walk to the side and search for other king medicines. Some even sat down cross-legged to recover from their injuries. Lin Xian also came to a secluded place and sat down cross-legged. From the looks of it, he was recovering his strength. In fact, while he was recovering his strength, he was also sending a voice transmission to tell her about the fire spirit pearl in his body. The Crimson Dragon was also surprised. It seemed like the fire spirit pearl was indeed related to something here. He just didn't know. Which one was it? Lin Xian asked. Rosalong, do you have the confidence to break these formations? The Crimson Dragon took a deep breath. It wasn't impossible to crack it, but it would take some time. It might take 1 or 2 years, or maybe 8 or 10 years. After all, you know that these formations are unusual. Lin Xian sighed after hearing that. Even the Crimson Dragon said so. It would be even more difficult for others to crack it. Suddenly, he exclaimed in surprise. He found that the fire spirit pearl in his body was suddenly covered with dense patterns. He had seen these patterns before, but he had been absorbing energy back then and didn't pay attention to them. Now, it seemed that there might be another secret. He studied it carefully and found that it seemed to be a formation. Thinking of this, Lin Xian said, Rosalong, protect me secretly. He closed his eyes, and his soul entered the space inside the small sword to study the fire spirit pearl. The others didn't know at all. They all thought that Lin Xian was recuperating. As for those people, they began to walk in all directions. For a moment, the surroundings were eerily quiet. Gradually, Huamuzhen and the others came to the fiery lake again, preparing to crack the heavenly flame formation. The Fire Dragon King and the 3 ancient royal family elites were busy. Everyone was trying to crack the formation. Around the fiery lake, runes were everywhere, and flames were intertwined. It was a strange scene. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. 3 days had passed, and no one had any clue at all. However, they didn't give up. They knew that it was impossible to crack it in a short time. However, these people didn't give up either. Huamuzhen and the others were even more solemn. They used all that they had learned in their lives. On the other side, Lin Xian also opened his eyes, revealing a trace of ecstasy. Excited, he was really too excited. In the past 3 days, his soul had entered the mysterious small sword to study the fire spirit pearl. He found that the patterns in the fire spirit pearl were actually formations. To be precise, there were 2 formations. One was called the Heavenly Flame Formation, and the other was called the 8 Barons Divine Flame Formation. Not only were the 2 formations recorded in it, but it also recorded the methods to crack them. This made Lin Xian wild with joy. Weren't the Heavenly Flame Formation and the 8 Barons Divine Flame Formation the 2 formations to protect the Heavenly Flame and the Void Divine Furnace? Outside, Huamuzhen and the other top prodigies had used countless methods, but to no avail. However, he had actually found a way to crack it. He was too excited. It seemed like it was time to make a move. However, it was impossible for him to brazenly attempt to breach the 2 spirit formations. Because even if he cracked it, the treasures might not necessarily be his in the end. Although he was a top prodigy, there were too many opponents. If the 3 supreme ancient theocrats joined forces, he wouldn't be able to fight them. Therefore, he had to think of a way to let these people kill each other first, and then he would be the fisherman to reap the benefits. Lin Xian transmitted the news to the Crimson Dragon, Murong Qingqing, and Xinjingqiu. When the 3 of them heard, their hearts beat wildly, especially the Crimson Dragon, who was trembling with excitement. Do you really have a way to crack it? Lin Xian nodded, but how to do it was still a problem. Murong Qingqing sighed. Brother Xian, I think it's better to choose one of them. It's not realistic to get both. Indeed, Lin Xian wasn't too greedy. As long as he could get one of the treasures, this trip would not be in vain. Xinjingqiu blinked her beautiful eyes and said, When Yen Nantian opened the void divine furnace, there was a ball of fiery red light shining. In the end, it turned into an immortal pill. According to my perception, the red pill's aura is very similar to the heavenly flame in the flaming lake. Therefore, I guess that the red pill must be related to the heavenly flame. Perhaps it has some components of the heavenly flame. What? There's such a thing? Lin Xian was shocked when he heard that. Even Murong Qingqing and the Crimson Dragon were shocked. Chapter 2976. To be honest, they only knew that the red pill was mysterious and contained terrifying power. However, they did not know if it had anything to do with the heavenly fire. Of course, they did not doubt Xinjingqiu's words, because they knew that Xinjingqiu had an innate spirit body. Such a spirit body was very sensitive to power. Perhaps Xinjingqiu was the only one who could sense it among all the elite prodigies present. In that case, Lin Xian's eyes flickered. He had an idea. Why don't we give up on the heavenly fire? Firstly, the pill contained the heavenly fire. Huamuzhen and the others were studying the heavenly fire. It seemed that they wanted to seize the heavenly fire. If we break the array now, they would definitely go crazy and fight for the heavenly fire. When they fight, we can take the opportunity to break the 8 barren divine fire array and get the void sky divine furnace. Even if we can't take the furnace away, it would be great if we can get the pill inside. After all, the heavenly fire was good, but the void sky divine furnace was even more mysterious. There might be other treasures inside besides the red pill. However, what if they fight here after breaking the array? We can't go to the valley and take the void sky divine furnace. Murong Qingqing frowned. Lin Xian smiled mysteriously. It was fine. Fire Qilin Cave had been plotting for a long time. Huamuzhen was powerful, and they knew Skyfire City very well. If they could get the heavenly fire, they would definitely leave. Don't forget about the teleportation array in the garden. They would definitely use that teleportation array to leave. Therefore, there would be a big hunt. After they leave, we just have to seize the void sky divine furnace. Lin Xian's plan was very good. Murong Qingqing and the others nodded when they heard it. All right, let's do it. Lin Xian could not take the initiative to attack. After all, it would be too obvious. Therefore, he told the Crimson Dragon the way to break the array. He told the Crimson Dragon to do it secretly. After all, they were covered by the mysterious feathers, and no one could see them. Then, let's get started. Lin Xian transmitted his voice. Then, he went outside the valley again, pulled out the Fire Qilin sword, and kept bombarding the valley. He wanted to create a commotion to attract the attention of those people, so that the Crimson Dragon could proceed quietly. As expected, Lin Xian's side began to attack the valley. All sorts of terrifying divine abilities and martial arts were displayed. Rumbling sounds rang out as flames filled the air. Sword Qi danced in the air, attracting the attention of Huamuzhen and the others in the distance. Damn it, what is this brat trying to do? Was he crazy? Humph, did he think that he could break the 8 barons' divine fire array just because he could defeat Zhang Wushuang? What an idiot! These people sneered disdainfully. However, they did not know that beside them, the Crimson Dragon was quietly cracking the formation. Lin Xian's solution was obtained from the Fire Spirit Pearl. It was very profound and mysterious. He only needed to change the arrangement of some runic patterns to break the array formation. Therefore, the Dark Rainbow Divine Dragon's operation could be said to be silent. 1 spot, 2 spots, 3 spots. There were a total of 49 spots. In the end, the Crimson Dragon cracked them one by one. When the last one was cracked, the Crimson Dragon hurriedly left with Murong Qingqing and the others. Not long after they left, a white mist suddenly appeared around the fiery lake, followed by a series of deep voices. The entire ground began to tremble. Damn it, what happened? Huamuzhen and the others were shocked. At first, they thought that something was wrong with Lin Xian's side. However, they realized that it was not the case. There was a problem with the fiery lake around them. Could it be that the formation had been opened? They were extremely shocked. Impossible! They had been searching for so long, but they could not find any clues. How did the formation break? Could it be that someone was lucky and accidentally triggered the mechanism to break the formation? The Fire Dragon King's eyes flickered. After all, it was not only the top prodigies who were cracking the formation. The other prodigies of the 10,000 ancient races were also cracking the formation. There were so many people. Perhaps one or two of them were lucky enough to encounter it. However, now was not the time for them to think too much. The array formation around the flaming lake let out a rumbling sound and quickly disappeared. The fiery lake appeared in front of everyone, and a monstrous and terrifying aura rushed toward them. It was as if they were facing the divine fire in the valley again. It was finally open. The prodigies of the Fire Qilin cave were excited. The prodigies of the other three royal families were also wild with joy. Feng Yingxue, Huimuzhen, and the others were excited. At this moment, everyone stood up and stared at the fiery lake in front of them. Attack! Huimuzhen was the first to roar. His body flashed, and a Fire Qilin appeared and rushed over. Wherever it passed, the world trembled. A terrifying power surged in all directions. Damn it, how dare you! Feng Yingxue shouted. Her arms danced, and she struck out the Phoenix seal. The Fire Dragon King, Zhan Wushuang, and Huisinyan were not willing to be left behind. They all displayed their powerful abilities. Get lost! At the front, Huimuzhen roared and spat out a bronze pagoda. As soon as the bronze pagoda appeared, a terrifying aura spread in all directions. With a gentle sound, a terrifying sound wave swept across all directions. Buzz! The space shattered, and thousands of runes bloomed. Not good! Seeing this, the Fire Dragon King and the others' expressions changed. That was because the bronze pagoda was too terrifying. The runes on it were terrifying. It was the work of a sage. Those runes were carved by a sage, and they were far more powerful than ordinary weapons. Therefore, in an instant, they were blasted away. Damn it, this guy has been preparing for a long time. He must be plotting against us. Feng Yingxue screamed. She felt that the formation was not activated by chance, but by Huimuzhen. Previously, the other party had been pretending and did not break the formation directly. Instead, he waited for these people to be exhausted, anxious, and lost their confidence before breaking the formation. The other party was well prepared. At this moment, the bronze pagoda was the best proof. The Fire Dragon King gritted his teeth. On the other side, Yan Nantian let out a long roar. His body emitted a dazzling light. 9 mysterious runes shrouded him and emitted a terrifying aura. Emperor runes! At this moment, Yan Nantian once again used the Emperor runes and quickly walked forward. As soon as the Emperor runes appeared, they blocked the power of the bronze pagoda. I won't let you get the heavenly fire. Yan Nantian's voice was cold as if a great emperor had been revived. In front of him, Huimuzhen sneered. The Qilin head let out a sinister laugh. Who do you think you are? Are you really a great emperor who has been revived? You're still too young in front of me. As he spoke, he opened his mouth and spat out third-grade flying swords. Each of them was as red as fire and emitted a terrifying aura. Not good, it's a forbidden artifact. Seeing this, the Fire Dragon King's eyelids twitched wildly. Huimuzhen laughed sinisterly. One of the flying swords grew larger and became 100 feet long. It slashed forward and broke through the flaming lake. Another flying sword circled around him. The last flying sword flew toward Yan Nantian and exploded midway. You're tuning into the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.